Chatfish, and welcome to another day with me, Kib, and you, the Chatfishes. On today's La Bunch Cast, we have a lot to talk about. This is true. So, chat, it's time for Lord of the Rings to get a proper reboot. That's right, chat. Lord of the Rings is gay and cringe, and it's time we made it gayer and more cringe. Just like, what? So yeah, there's a lot of articles now pushing the subject because they're making a Lord of the Rings sequel that perhaps it's time to make a Lord of the Rings reboot as well, along with that sequel to, help erase that previous identity. Now we're going to talk about something rather interesting here. So, did you know, Chatfishes, did you know that Lord of the Rings was written by Tolkien? I know, crazy concept, right? But did you know the movies were not? In fact, the movies were actually an interpretation by Peter Jackson and other writers of Tolkien's work. And so that's quite a bit different, actually. And so that raises an interesting question. When Peter Jackson made Lord of the Rings movies, why didn't he insert his politics into the movies? Crazy concept, I know.
I can answer that.
It was actually because in an interview, they talked about how it would be more respectful to Tolkien's work and legacy to not insert their own politics into the movie, but instead actually put Tolkien's politics into the movie. And so the reason why Lord of the Rings has those, Judeo-Christian values and themes is entirely due to the fact that the creators, Peter Jackson and all the other guys working on the story and writing the scripts for the movie, did their best to try to make the movie as faithful and respectful to his ideology as well as his, philosophy and everything. And so that is entirely why Lord of the Rings was as good as it was, right? Because it's an excellent question. Why was Lord of the Rings so faithful? And it wasn't like movies were more faithful back then. Oh my god, I've seen so many Judge Dredd movies from the 80s. That wasn't very faithful. He takes off his helmet and does all sorts of stuff, and just a Stallone movie. And I enjoy it, but there's a lot of movies that were incredibly not faithful. It's an oddity, especially because movies have never been particularly historically faithful. Starship Troopers, not faithful in the slightest to Frank Herbert's wishes or philosophy. Wait, Frank Herbert? No. Frank Herbert is Dune guy.
Dune.
Oh God, I'm getting names mixed up. Robert Heinlein. Yeah, okay, there we go. Wrong guy, wrong old man.
Close enough.
But yeah, so it was not at all respectful to Heinlein's work whatsoever. In fact, the movie is an insult to Heinlein, which is interesting because the movie's actually surprisingly good. But that's weird odd cases aside, right? Movies historically have had a tendency to not be particularly accurate to their book adaptations. Another case in point, the Jurassic Park movie. Not at all accurate to the book, and that's a fucking blessing, by the way. The book wasn't very good.
Yes, much better than the weird Willy Wonka-esque type individual that they were going to play.
Yeah, because the old man was kicking his little feet on the helicopter, and it goes on to describe how he's like a child, he's immature, and then he falls down a hill and is like, no, as he's eaten by compies, and it's like, oh my god, dude, what the fuck? Yeah, because
no.
they didn't really do a good job with that. So yeah, welcome to Stream Buggy. We're talking about media articles talking about maybe it's a time for a reboot of Lord of the Rings, considering that Harry Potter's getting a reboot.
And I can't believe Colbert is going to be the one writing all of it.
It's so crazy, isn't it? Stephen Colbert? I went to go visit my old man, and I told him about this morning, and he just shook his head, and he was like, oh my god. Because it's yeah, Colbert, what has he written that's good? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know.
He doesn't even write.
And it's going to be Samwise Gamgee's daughter is the main character.
Oh boy. Are they going to try to make her a strong, independent whammon hobbit?
Well, no, she's going to probably do something that is going to make it to where the trilogy would never be able to be successful without her doing something in it.
It's actually because I can time travel. I actually defeated Sauron.
She was actually Sam.
The whole tower exploding in the movie, which is a movie thing, by the way, was because she screamed. It was like, rah!
What if she finds Sauron's like final catalyst body or something this in the Shire and she kills him, and then she's the one who actually kills Sauron instead?
Oh my god. Now, that would be so dumb. But at the same time, after seeing Rings of Power, like I genuinely don't know. Because like I would say that what you're saying sounds stupid and retarded and that's never gonna happen. But I saw Rings of Power, and so like I'm at the point now where I just don't know anymore. I just don't know.
You should know, Kibbs.
Rings of Power did the impossible, my dudes. It just everything you thought they could do wrong, they like did it, and they did it like worse. It's like, oh, look at my orc baby. It's like, you're what? An orc baby? There's no such thing as orc babies. There's orc moms, orc family structures. What? Like that's not even like what? That's not even... My orc atomic family structure. Okay, they don't really have familial structures. Orcs aren't. You know, they're dead elves that were warped and twisted by Morgoth and like hell, basically.
Yeah, tortured. Yeah, but again, and then if you look at it right in the Sauron's, was it the White Tower or whatever the fuck it's called?
Mm-hmm.
Or, I don't know what.
I don't remember the name
Sauron's.
of the tower. It's
Sorry,
got some sort of name.
Saruman's tower.
Called
Yeah.
like probably something Isil or
Orthanc or
Mon or
something.
something.
Yeah,
No, Orthanc's a
Isengard.
different thing. Yeah, Isengard's the.
Isil or
Yeah.
Mon.
That's not the tower. That's the land it's in.
Yeah, but in any case, like they were digging the fucking orcs out of like cyst bags under the fucking earth and shit.
Yeah, because they can dig them up with like evil magic.
Yeah, which is really funny.
Ugh,
So how
gross.
many orcs are just under the ground like that?
Lots, considering the wars that happened in the past. So that's the scary part. That's the little wriggly bags of nasty shit. And they somehow like fused them together with like humans or like something like that. And that's how it made the Urukai, which were stronger.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'd agree. But I also think it's funny because it's like, okay, well then these orcs are like several like millennia old.
Yeah, I've always wondered like that. Because like the orcs are ancient because they're, you know, twisted elves. The Urukai are new because they were made by Saruman. And so like,
Well, the orcs orcs can be produced.
yeah,
Their origin was as elves that were twisted, but
yeah, they can make more of
I
them.
highly doubt any of those original ones are around.
Well, hold
anymore.
on. The ones they dug up out of the ground had to be the old ones.
Yeah, they'd be old. I don't really want to know how they procreate. I'll be real with you.
Well, the
I don't-
Gungan ones were a product of rape.
Yeah, they were rape babies.
Yeah, I'm just
The
saying
Urukai.
they literally dug them out of the ground to make that work.
Gross.
Anyways. But yeah, so not only this, kids, the Harry Potter thing is starting to make me laugh because everybody's making the AI meme edits of the fucking shit. Like,
Snape.
no, not just Snape, but the fucking they're calling it drip warts.
Drip
Or it's
warts.
just Zoomer millennial like mogging.
The problem
shit.
is, it's
So
like,
it's all-
are they gonna make? So Bucky, is the story gonna be like set in the 90s like it was originally, or is it gonna be like?
no, I don't think so.
It's actually 2020s, and Harry Potter's, you know, on his fucking phone flipping through, you know, Twitter, and it's like, oh my god, help me.
It can't be in the early 90s anymore. Just because like the fucking Snape is wearing a tracksuit that doesn't exist back then.
What the fuck? He's wearing a tracksuit.
People have
That's
also
con-
pointed out that they're desaturated and making everything dark and just kind of
Yes.
dreary looking.
Yeah, they're graying everything out because it's easier to like do that shit
rather than
hide,
having lighting.
Yes, because if you have lighting,
You can see
then
how
it's harder
cheap it
to-
is.
exactly.
Because the
Oh, people
props
already
and
start
sets
showing
are
how cheap
bad.
it is.
Like the props and sets are bad. Because if you compare some of the scenes from like Lord of the Rings, or not Lord of the Rings, sorry, Harry Potter, the original, the sets, the clothing, like it was all very well made, very well crafted. Like whether you
know
like
what the
Harry Potter,
difference
whether
is?
you don't like Harry Potter, they put a lot of heart and soul into the creation of the movies. What?
One of the main differences is in the Harry Potter things, they actually had a budget, so they had to use their money wisely. Money's just getting poured into the HBO thing, so they just don't care.
You know, it's actually
It's
funny
probably just getting pocketed
that
in
I think
90% of
about
it.
Yeah.
is that it was probably easier to rent a Hogwarts train than it is to CGI it.
Probably those
It's
trains
probably
are still
cheaper.
rentable. I'm pretty sure for you can rent them for a movie.
Yeah, and they're probably cheaper than doing CGI shit for it.
You have a membership milestone, kids.
Little Polly has been a member for 36 months as a loyal slave. He says, "I'm all the Saurons, and I am all the hobbits." And then the strong, independent female crosses 2 magic swords and releases a laser giga mega Sauron, destroying him. What? And a legion of wraiths. And, oh my god, I am all the Jedi. And she crosses her lightsabers, and then fucking, like, Palpatine just explodes. It's so stupid. Oh my god, I remember fucking cringing. It was Christmas like time. We were going up there for Christmas. Oh. That was a Christmas I'll never forget. Genghis
I'm glad I didn't
says,
watch them.
I wish I didn't. Replace orcs with 40k orcs because they the bestest. Nah, those orcs are just too comedic. Thank you for the nation, though. River gives a membership. Thank you for the generous gifting memberships. Very generous. He also puts...
There is still a max tier bounty and a personal bounty available.
Rifford and the other Chatfish Genghis applied their hashtags. That's true. Resident Evil
You
2 does have thumbnail space. If you want to get into RE2 Remake. Or no, RE2 Classic. Retarded. We already played Remake. Now, back to Lord of the Rings. Yeah, so this talk probably is them testing the waters because it's coming from all the major news publishing agency stuff. And so if that's the case, they probably already have plans for a Lord of the Rings reboot.
Or they've already started like pre-production stuff.
Yes, and so they're probably testing the waters to see what people say about it. My big issue is
I
that
think it needs to fail.
I don't think they can do it because nobody does what they did right. There's an interview in the old Lord of the Rings movies when Peter Jackson's interviewed along with the other creators, and I've mentioned this before and I'll mention it one more time, where they talk about how, no, we don't want to put our politics into it because that would not be faithful or respectful to the original works. We're going to instead look at what Tolkien's politics and philosophy was and try to put that in the movie instead. Hence why Lord of the Rings has that really faithful vibe to it, because it's very faithful to his spirit. It's got that sort of like very, Christian vibe going on there because, Tolkien was a Christian. So it's one of those things that really clicks there. He's also very, right-leaning. It's why the story also clicks there because, again, he put all the things in there that the, Tolkien would have liked. Granted, Tolkien probably wouldn't have liked all the gratuitous action scenes because he really didn't like violence. But at the same time, they did it in a respectful enough manner, in my opinion, that it captured the theme well. Even if it did have a grotesque amount
Even
of
the
violence.
fighting was whimsical to a certain extent.
Yeah, they didn't really try to make it too visceral. Like there was limb lopping and stuff like that, but like it was not like messy, if that makes sense, as it could have been.
I mean, what was it? Oh boy, what's the elf's name again? I can't remember.
Legolas?
Yeah, Legolas surfing down the fucking elephant as he's killing it is kind of whimsical.
Yeah,
in a
it's
certain
very.
way.
They keep it kind of light. Like they never really show humans dying really horrifically. The most like time they ever show like brutal scenes is that one
Bragging
elf
them
guy
off.
that dies on the wall, and then the one human soldier who dies in Osgiliath when he gets stabbed in the chest.
No, that and whenever the fucking dragon things drag them off the fucking wall.
Oh
and
yeah, like
drop them.
flung him. Yep.
Yeah, that's about it.
But they didn't really focus like super heavy on it. And that's why I think they were pretty faithful, because they tried to focus on the good guys persevering against the bad guys, but they tried to show the bad guys being threatening.
Hmm.
The fighting didn't seem too outlandishly out of place. Yeah, they didn't go too crazy. Even though Return of the King, they went a little crazy because the Rohirrim charge was probably the worst part of the movie. The speech is amazing. The charge is just nonsensical because the cavalry just like turns the enemy infantry into paste, and it's like that's not quite how that.
They're magic, okay.
Magic horses running over hundreds of dudes, not tripping.
No, that's because the kids.
Just
you
built
understand.
different.
It's
built
a
different.
charisma roll.
They're all rolling like fucking nat 20s and shit. Like it's
Yeah,
just
well,
the legendary rolls.
yeah, it's the it's the event where it's like, okay, it's like when Gandalf like looked to the east. Shit, he's like, oh yeah, you know what? I roll for blinding everybody.
Mhm. That's also true, little Mackie. He says that there's a little bit more melodrama in the movies. Yes, in the book, Sam and Frodo never really have melodrama. There's never really any uncertainty about Gollum. They're like, he's evil, we can't trust him, and that's kind of it. Versus in the movies,
Well,
Frodo's is like
Sam is like that.
Sam is like that.
Frodo very much is like, I have to trust him.
Well, he wants him
to
to be
some extent.
redeemable because he sees himself, and if he can redeem Gollum, then
Yes.
he can be redeemed after what he's done.
He's aware that Gollum is
A monster.
corrupted, but he wants to believe that he can be saved basically throughout the book.
And then the spider's name was like Shelob or something, right?
Yeah.
Shelob.
So I do what?
Yeah,
Shelob.
Yeah, Shelob. I 100% believe that Tolkien intentionally wanted Shelob to be a hot dummy mummy. But that's what I actually think.
See, the worst part is we
See,
all
the book
know...
actually goes into detail describing her, and she's a rancid, disgusting, putrid creature.
No. She like I 100% believe.
Here, I'll help you, Bucky.
The War in the North.
So the only proof we have that he might be a Gunnar is that there was fan art made of the Rohirrim chick who is supposed to be disguising herself as a man, wearing basically like a skimpy fucking scale armored bikini, kind of. And she's very a lot of thighs exposed, and Tolkien's like, yep, that's exactly how I imagined her. And I'm just like, oh my god, he was a Gunnar. He was a Gunnar.
Well,
yeah.
He wrote in detail about the most beautiful woman like in the world in the book. And it's named after his wife.
Yeah.
Curious.
But that one Rohirrim riding chick.
Yep, wearing the skimpy outfit. Yeah, because the fact that he said that that's like pretty accurate to how she looks means that, all right. So women maybe should have been a little bit more scantily clad. That's the only thing Peter Jackson messed up. The only thing Peter...
I think it's just a like the Shadow of War shit is just, I think would be funny because it's just like, okay, well, it's scantily clad, you know, hot fucking Spider Woman, evil, blah blah blah,
goth themed.
Even though it's obvious that he wanted her to be a grotesque monster, and it's like, where the fuck did they get this from? My headcanon is this is what Tolkien would have wanted.
It's what he actually wanted, but his wife would have snapped his neck, so he had to be clever.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. He's one of us.
Books also make it clear Gollum is literally like helping Shelob.
Yeah, the fish monster.
Yeah, you can't trust Gollum. He's an evil little shit.
He's a fish monster too. So.
Yeah, he looks like a fish in the book. At least if I remember right, doesn't he?
Not quite. He's not really described.
I remember
in
being
excessive
like
detail of how his
fishy.
exact look. They describe him as a bit grotesque, yes, but like it wasn't like he looks like a fish.
Yeah, but I've always imagined him like a fish.
I think the cartoon accurately describes him.
Yeah, because the old cartoon might nail it. He had a fish head. He was actually a chatfish. Chatfish gone wrong. Just like, whoa.
That's like how we know Kibbs looks like a cucumber in real life.
Damn.
He does really like using this one, doesn't he, Bucky?
Yeah.
Chatfish love pickles. Like, pickles are quite tasty.
I just like how all the toggles work on them.
They do. There'll be more soon. Bonobo is working hard.
But Kibbs, you can't be a pickle, McRonan.
It's true. Sometimes in life we suffer. Well, I could actually, probably. It's just my, hands will be white. My hands will be white. Because they're glued on. Because they're glued on. Just like, what? Didn't he base the Ents on the US, their long Senate sessions? Okay, so yes, there's a lot of references to our world in Lord of the Rings, like the Nazgul, the Nazi Nazgul. Like they're the same. They're not the same, but there's a lot of influences there, like how like evil like Germany was and stuff like that. Because
what should I name the guy who works
the Ents
for
being
Big
like
Bad?
they couldn't do right, but they're slow and they don't do anything because it's the view the British have of America, just like, the America could help us, but they're just sitting there fucking around. And the Ents are
Yeah, so-
representing that because the Americans are slow, and when they finally do come, they crush everything in their path. Yes,
Mhm.
I think the Ents are sort of like an allegory for the United States of America, because he did vent a lot about, like, his time in the Great War, and
Yeah.
in real life, because he was also stressed about the fact that the Nazgul, the Nazis, were gonna do stuff again, and so it was like, here we going with the same shit
Mhm.
all over again.
So what are the female Ents? What are they an allusion to? Because they got lost somewhere. I've forgotten.
It's heavily implied that they are all dead.
Who's dead? Oh, the female Ents? No, they're not dead.
I
You
said
just forgot
heavily
them.
implied.
No, they're like in a
Because they
different
go to the
location.
region they were at. Well, they lost them, Gibbs, and it's desolate. It's all just desolated.
They probably wandered away. They get a happy ending, okay? I don't care.
I'm sorry, but they don't. The Ents are gone.
No. Yeah, because the big thing about Tolkien's Middle Earth is that magic is dying. Like, the magic of the world is failing.
Yep.
The elves are
Effectively,
retreating.
the end of the book, it's the dawn of the Age of Man. The elves will leave. The hobbits will eventually fade into the obscurity. The dwarves will disappear in time, and it
Yep,
will
they'll
be just
disappear
man.
into their minds, and man will rule the earth.
Yep.
Because the next book was setting, but the next book he was planning, or series he was planning, was sort of setting up the wizards in the far over there, north, west, east. Because there was like some wizards somewhere in the east, north of Mordor, right? Something like that, some characters or something. And like it was going to be about that area, I think. I'm not entirely sure. Because if you look at like his entire like world or map for Middle Earth, like Middle Earth's huge. Like it's actually huge. Like there's a lot more stuff. It's all undercooked. It's a little raw. There's like nothing in other places, just empty. Because he was going to add stuff. He was going to build a lot more.
Well, also, one of the things that has allowed Lord of the Rings to stand the test of time so well is how he wrote it, which made it take a long while to write. Because it's not written like a typical book. It's written like it's a translated text that was found.
Yeah, it's written weirdly.
Like this is a true story that is just now being translated into English.
Yep. It's also because he wanted to create a mythos for England, because England doesn't have a mythos. It has nothing, right? Versus the Scandinavians of Europe have like this mythos with like Norse mythology. The British have nothing. They just don't have anything. It's like, we came over here, we haven't been here that long, and we have no mythos. We just are here. The only thing that they have kind of is the Gallic mythos, but that's like of the Iceni and the stuff like the Welsh, the Pictish, and like the fucking Celts and stuff like that. Like they don't really have a connection to that. It's kind of weird, isn't it, chat? Wow, philosophical. Past the Sea of Rune in the vastness of Khand and among the tribes of Harad, says little Gregors. Yeah. Of course, it is proven. In fact, that I'm a madman. Well, you're going to be putting down then. He's like, ooh. Chatfish are having a hard time today. They don't understand. Look at them wiggling. But yeah, I think that's kind of like everything for like Lord of the Rings. I mean, as far as the reboot's concerned, to bring it back, I just think it's a bad idea to try to remake Lord of the Rings. I think, like, I tried to look at it from a fair lens because I made a Twitter post about it, and it's like, okay, like there are certain things the movies didn't do well that they could maybe do better if we're being fucking mystic about the movie if they reboot it. Like, having the Knights of Dol Amroth in it. That'd be kind of cool. Or maybe actually showing the Siege of Gondor not as a repeat of Helm's Deep, but like crappy. Because the Battle of Gondor's capital of Minas Tirith, or, well, new capital of Minas Tirith, was kind of a wet fart in Return of the King. It's like, oh, every tier of the city falls in like 5 fucking minutes. It's like, okay.
It also displayed the lands around Minas Tirith is just
Mhm.
desolated.
Yeah, and it also misses the giant wall around the lands of Minas Tirith because it actually protects the farmlands. But yeah.
Yeah, it's actually
No.
supposed to be a very lush land around Minas Tirith.
Because it feeds the
My
city.
question
It's filled
here,
with farms.
my question here, Kibbs, is very, very central to the plot.
Yeah.
Was the fucking ghost horde in the books?
Yes.
Yeah, that was in the books. But they only helped with the landing, as in they killed the boats.
They help clear away the pirates and save the besieged cities along the river.
Along the river, yeah.
And then once they do that, Aragorn sets them free, and then rallies the people there, and they take the pirate ships and basically create a fleet and go rescue Minas Tirith.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's actually those people that he rescues that actually joins him to help join the forces. Because there's the Rohirrim that come over the hill. Then the people in Minas Tirith see the Rohirrim coming and they're like, we're gonna ride out and meet them, and like come and join them together and join them in their counterattack. And so the Knights of Dol Amroth ride forth from the gates to go help them, and then Aragorn and his forces arrive along the river, and then join in.
Aragorn running out saying, charging, and then the entire fucking ghost army comes through the boats.
That is definitely a movie thing, but like at the same time, while I like the book's interpretation because it makes men have to earn it a bit more, from a logical standpoint, I don't know why Aragorn didn't go like, all right, you can get you will be fulfilled for your oath if you go to Mordor and clean it up. Not a single orc left standing, and then they
Honestly,
just sweep over Mordor.
Aragorn better, because in the books he's kind of a shallow character.
I don't think they can step foot in Mordor. I don't think.
Oh, maybe because it might be magical stuff. But damn, that army was such like a fucking like amazing thing. Like it was kind of weird in the book
wiped
that
everything
they didn't
out
use them more.
They also kind of I really wish that the movies had handled the Dead City where the Nazgul were.
Oh, Minas Morgul.
They get to that. Yeah, they just burn everything down.
Yeah, because
like, don't even approach
after
the city,
they liberate the city, right? They take back Osgiliath, and then they launch an attack to Minas Morgul before they go to the Black Gate.
But Minas Morgul is so evil and corrupt that they don't even set foot in the city.
Yeah, they just burn it.
Drive people mad.
Because they're like, fuck this city. Well, it was once their city. It was the city of the moon or something. But it's lost, and so they just burn it.
It's too corrupted. Like, it can't even be saved or rebuilt. Like, the land itself is just cursed.
Yeah. But I mean, the thing is, there could be things that could be shown that were missed in the books that would be cool, especially for Return of the King, because Return of the King is probably the weakest movie in the trilogy, and it's still good, by the way. It's just the weakest one. But the big problem I have with Return of the King is that they skip out the Knights of Dol Amroth, which is like, oh, the Swan Knights.
He started playing a bit fast and loose with the story at that point.
Like, no Swan Knights, sad. No Swan. The Swan Knights are like Giga Chads.
The one thing I can agree with them cutting out is Tom Bombadil.
Tom Bombadil, yeah, he's just.
I want Tom Bombadil in the movie.
Tom Bombadil is kind of like,
because like
oh,
I was reading
I
the
don't
thing,
care.
like his purpose is basically like there to show that there is just forces of good that are completely untouched in the world, but like it's also like okay, but
I don't even know if he's a force of good. I just think he's just too above everything. Like he's just it's almost as if he's vacationing in fucking.
Yeah, it doesn't really feel because in the book, like at least from what I remember,
he's master of that realm basically where he's at.
Yeah, he's master of the realm he's at, but he's also like, your problems.
He's also literally just like a god, pretty much. Yeah, it's like this character.
I mean, Galadriel is also like a demigod. Like
in the books, it actually does a good job of actually describing why that. She and the other people, the ring bearers, the other three.
Yeah, because if they try to fight back, they'll get corrupted.
He will know where the ring is, and he can subvert those three rings.
Yes,
and if Gandalf actually has one of the three, but he hides it throughout the entire movie.
Yep, because Galadriel, it makes better sense than Tom Bombadil because again, Galadriel's literally a demigod, and she could be corrupted by him, and if she's corrupted by him, then Sauron will literally have a corrupted Galadriel, which is like a demigod.
If she also leaves their region. Like her presence and the ring sustains that entire land.
Yeah, Lothlorien or whatever the fuck, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So if she leaves and like went to like the fight, like
The elves
it's
will begin to diminish there, meaning their what do you call it, Even Star bullshit, like the thing that keeps them
Mhm.
immortal, will fade.
But which is also
So-
weird because the whole thing is, doesn't she go back across the veil afterwards?
well when
With
they
Frodo?
leave, yes, but when she leaves, that's literally like all of the elves.
Yep,
are
she's
gone
like the
now.
last one willing to stay behind.
Yeah,
She's the one who basically
it's the
talks
last boat to
to
leave.
what's his nuts to be like, you know, one thing I like about the movie versus the books is that the elves actually decide to send more help, because in the
Mhm.
in the book in Two Towers, the elves don't arrive at Helm's Deep. There are no reinforcements. Man stands alone. And the elves arriving in the movie is cooler to me because it shows that, the elves are not abandoning the fight entirely.
So
Like, they're
basically,
sticking
the only
around.
ones who were really, really helpful was Elrond's house, because they had a lot closer ties to humans, to man, and his sons actually do show up a good bit to help out
Yeah.
in the
Oh,
books.
yeah. The silver haired guy. What's his nuts? I can't remember his
I don't remember their
name.
names, but his two sons show up a lot to help
Yes,
out.
because in the movies, his sons aren't even in existence. They don't even exist. Yeah, because there is things that I think a reboot series could do better. But the issue is, I think in today's era of 2026, I don't think we can pull it off. I don't think the people in charge
No,
know how to do it or do it competently. Would I like to see a
yeah.
reboot with like the Knights of Dol Roth and like
It would have to
Elrond's
be an
sons? Yeah,
independent studio. It couldn't be any of the mainstream stuff.
because
Mainstream studios.
I also think that Lord of the Rings as a movies could probably be broken into 4-hour movies, again, like the trilogy they did, but almost like a little longer if they actually wanted to capture like things like the Knights of Dol Roth, the Elrond's sons, and showing a lot more, and like showing the battle for Minas Morgul and stuff like that.
Mhm. Well, I would want from this fucking Lord of the Rings series is nothing to do with whatever the fuck they were talking about with Samwise Gamgee's daughter.
Yeah, I don't
I
know
want
if that matters.
I want the post scouring shit. I want like mystical intrigue into the fucking the court and everything. You know how Aragorn, rises to be king. Obviously, I want like the fucking lesser guys running around interacting with fucking like court espionage shit. That's what I want to see. I want to see the Forces of Darkness
Well,
try to struggle up till the very end.
because there's still plenty of orcs. There's still the
Yeah.
The orcs haven't been
Haradrim or
wiped
whatever
out.
they were. Not
Because
Haradrim, but
the Return of the King movie showing the world just collapsing, the orcs falling into the abyss was kind of like, all
Yeah.
Yeah,
right,
they
come
fled.
on, you're just
Actually,
making that up. That didn't
it
happen.
showed that the men who worked for Sauron, they stood their ground and fought to the last.
Yeah,
Whereas the orcs fled the second like shit went down.
the orcs fled. The men for Sauron actually stood and died.
Yeah,
Died
the
fighting.
eastern men all basically would always stand their ground.
Mm.
Like they never fled.
But yeah, you were saying, Bucky?
Uh,
No, that's it. I want intrigue and stuff. I want it to be in a situation where it's like almost like detective-y mystery shit going on while experiencing the aftermath of like near genocidal war and how the different factions are now trying to fill the void
Yes, because there
pockets
would
for
be a
power.
power struggle. Even, I mean,
Yes.
in Gondor, there would be the solidification. Like, with Aragorn returned, he'd need to solidify his power base and make sure that all the nobles under him are actually loyal and blah, blah, blah.
so they'd have to really rewrite how the story ended from the books for that to work for Gondor at least. The other ones, like
Because
yeah, there'd be more
the books sort of
restructuring.
talk about how I think it doesn't mention that Aragorn would lead sorties of men to go hunt ragtag bands of orcs. Like he would lead the forces of men, and he also reforged the great kingdom of Arnor,
So
right?
I didn't read
Or no, it's not
past the
Arnor, it's
last
Arnor.
book, but effectively at that point, Aragorn is the undisputed ruler. Like there's everyone literally the second he shows up and like not only does he show up and like rescue the city, he also goes and literally himself treats and heals like all of the wounded. Like he has 100% of the loyalty of the city and the people of Gondor.
For the
Like there
people of
was
Minas
no
Tirith. But that was
And the other, like, Osgiliath or whatever, he sends Faramir, who literally when they first meet, he swears his loyalty to him.
well, yeah, Faramir is loyal to him. That
Yeah,
doesn't
he sends
surprise
him
me.
to basically become the prince of a different city, of like an extension of Gondor. So like his power base is solid by the
Yep,
end
because
already.
the Rohirrim, don't they fold back in?
They swear loyalty immediately, yeah.
Yeah, because he's basically able to so he basically reforges the Kingdom of Arnor, which is like the
The only
greater
threat really
Numenorean
at the end
like
of the books would be
legacy bit.
remnant orcs, like trolls and stuff that's like
Yes,
hiding under
but
the
the
mountains,
other
and
thing
the
is
end
that
of the
he
east.
declares the Shire a protectorate of Gondor, meaning that he'll protect them no matter what because of what they
Hmm.
did. And so that means, because if you know anything about the map, that means that all the kingdom in the north that fell, the kingdom that fell to the Witch King of Angmar, is also back under the fold of him. Granted, most of the lands are abandoned.
Well, there's also in the books the men of the north, like his I forget what they're called.
Numenorians.
Yeah, well, no, like the force he led protecting the lands north of the Shire
Oh, the
before
Dunedain.
he became king. Yeah, the Dunedain, which is 100+ men that come and join him, and like they all survive because they're literally superhumans.
Yeah, they're basically Numenorians. They're super long lived.
Yeah,
They're the humans that
but
fought alongside the elves. That's why the fucking god thing, what is it called? The tree thingy, blessed them with like long life for being like loyal or something. I mean, that's why they gave them Numenor, right? Because humanity did such a good job. Is that Numenor became corrupt and forgot its place, and then they sank into the sea, like eh.
Would have been nice if they didn't.
Yeah, should have been naughty. I mean, after seeing Rings of Power, I'm glad it sank. God, good riddance. Good riddance.
Yeah.
Keep it down there. Marangatu's been a
Yeah.
member for 26 months. Says, hello there, Kyle. I've just been to the site of Battle of Acosta Nu, where the last Battle of Paraguay war happened, and those children fought. Well, that's pretty
Salute.
cool.
Solano Lopez. Solano Lopez. There we go.
Salona Lopez. Now continue, Bucky, as you were saying.
God, I from the was it the movie? There's a lot of open ending because I think the issue being is that not a whole lot of people will actually base the story off of the books and rather off of the movie itself. And the movie doesn't lead into the raids. It doesn't lead into a lot of things. It just ends with him being anointed king. And to be fair, you can't really like dispute the fact that like he's king. He had the fucking ghost army acknowledge he was the king,
Yes.
the rightful heir.
He also has the loyalty of all the captains, pretty much.
No, not just the captains, but every other race
Mm-hmm.
as well.
His power base
It's
is
kind
pretty
of
solid.
and Gandalf the White.
That's true.
Gandalf does leave at the end though.
It didn't matter though. But Gandalf is like,
Yeah,
like
if your king's
you
friends
ain't
with
arguing.
Gandalf the White, like okay,
like basically an angel of the Lord.
he's got the blessing of God, basically. Yes, the divine mandate of heaven, as the Chinese would call it.
Quite literally, when he shows up, because the tree of Minas Tirith is dead when they get there, and before Gandalf leaves,
It's
a
blooming.
new tree is growing.
Symbolism of the white tree. Wow.
Which, to be clear, like that white tree was supposed to be like the last one that existed. And Aragorn shows up and suddenly there's fresh growth of a new one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, Lord of the Rings is really cool. I would love to see more Lord of the Rings. However, I don't know if I want to see more Lord of the Rings from the people that are working on it.
And New would have to just, like I said, have to be dealing with the Men of the East.
Yeah, I mean, that's where Tolkien wanted to expand the setting anyways. That's where he was building it up. Because the next setting, if I remember right,
That's the only threat left, really.
like the evidence we have is that it was going to be a fight between like the good and wrong of man. Because it's, all the magical races are kind of gone now. Middle Earth was left for men to rule. It's like, wow. Look at the rocks and the grass, like that's our stuff.
Literally, Shire just becomes protected and isolated, and eventually the hobbits
What
just
about the
disappear.
Eagles, Kibbs?
I'm sure they'd get turned into chicken. He's like, no.
I think it was actually, if I'm recalling correctly, basically the Eagles were, even in the books being shown, like the younger generations were getting smaller.
They're shrinking. No, they're not gonna be able to talk anymore. Oh, that's right. They also talk. I forgot about that too. There's actually a game that actually does this pretty well. War in the North. I like that game quite a bit. I think it's one of the better games, like of the Lord of the Rings saga, because it adds like a completely custom story, and it's really nice. I like it.
See, that's how expansions should be done in Lord of the Rings. Like, you go off into an area that's not really been explored, not just redoing the same
Yeah, because it
shit
dealt
over
with
and
like
over.
the Angmar region, which was really cool because we didn't get to see a lot of that. It's like, wow, that's up there. But yeah,
Good night, Hippo.
take care, hippo fishy. Be a good little fish man. But yeah, so moving on to the next thing because we should, and let's keep it TV show focused and movies because we're working on that at the moment. So Gate World, for those that don't know, it's a website dedicated to the fandom of Stargate. So wow. And for those who don't know what Stargate is, it's a really good science fiction TV show that has 2 series and a couple of movies: Stargate SG-1 and Stargate Atlantis. You should definitely
You're
check it
forgetting
out.
the most important part. It's Air Force
Aw.
propaganda.
It is. It was one of the few TV shows sponsored and funded by the Air Force, much like the Area 51 game we streamed a while back, which was sponsored and funded by the Air Force. Which is weird because the game had a very like sort of anti-American thing, but it wasn't like anti-American towards like the armed forces. It was specifically anti-federal like government, but pro like military command. It was a weird game. It was so weird. It's like the Air Force general's good, but everybody else is corrupt. Follow the Air Force general off the ledge. It's like, okay. But yeah, so this is some news about it. Everything we just learned about the new Stargate series, which they are working on a new Stargate TV show. They did get a lot of the original guys, Martin Jarrow and Joseph Malazzi, and they answered some questions about it. So there's a brand new Stargate series coming to Prime Video, and so far it is shaping up to be one of the more transparent and accessible productions in science fiction history. That's because series creator Martin Jarrow has taken news about the show straight to the fans, joining Gate World and the Gate for another live stream conversation last week. It included our first interview with a pair of key production team members, production designer Nathan Crowley and visuals effects supervisor Mohen Leo. Announced on the live stream on Friday, after the pre-recorded conversation with Crowley and Leo, which you can watch below, Jarrow took questions about the large-scale sci-fi production from Gateworld's Darren Sumner, yours truly, the guy who wrote the article, wow, and Dial the Gate host David Reed, 2 longtime fans who have been covering the franchise and keeping the torch lit for more than 2 decades. Yeah, it's been a while since they've made any new stuff, chat. He also brought in his fellow Stargate writer and producer, Joseph Malazzi, to help him field questions directly from fans in the chat. The full conversation ran over 90 minutes, which you can watch below in full, but if you don't have that much time to kill, recapping the big stuff. So, yeah, let's get into it. Production design. Stargate's production designer is Nathan Crowley, who worked with Christopher Nolan on films from The Prestige and Batman Begins to Interstellar and Dunkirk. On television, he worked on the first season of HBO's Westworld. In 2025, Crowley won the Academy Award for Wicked. Along with him comes artist Phil Lemmer, Crowley's wife and longtime creative partner. Crowley said that he sees his challenge as remaining grounded in the established universe of Stargate, while also producing something that is distinctly new. My idea of design is you have to respect the world it lives in, and thus the fan bases. He said, you have to keep one foot in, but because we're now launching onto something new, we have to put the other foot out as far as we can. And I think it's essential that, as a designer, you try to push as far as you can while you keep the other foot in what's gone before. There, he's just basically referring to trying to preserve like the identity of what was, but also make something new from that. Which basically implies that he's referring to this as using it as a sort of like a reference base for the new stuff to be based on. Visual effects and ILM. Stargate VFX supervisor Mohan Leo, whose credits with Industrial Light and Magic includes Rogue One, A Star Wars Story, and Andor, along with the announcement, Jarrow confirmed that ILM will be one of Stargate's visual effects partners. Leo also spoke of approaching the world of Stargate with reverence for what's been done before, and for the ways in which fictional world is rooted in the familiar. One of the things creatively that we talk about that is really important is that in spite of both sci-fi and mythology aspects of the franchise, we want to create something that is still grounded in reality. He said, a big part of it is the characters and their story. And one of the things that I've always felt with past projects as well is that in order for the audience to really care about the characters and participate in their emotions, you have to make sure the world is believable and relatable. So, I think to a large extent, it's going to be taking all of those sci-fi and mythology aspects, but then grounding them in something that really feels like the real world, so that people can engage emotionally with it, as much as you can when you can shoot a real location, a real set, that becomes the foundation of what you then build visual effects on top of. Gate consistency. Although each previous show has iterated on the design of Stargate, even SG-1 updated the feature film's gate, Crowley suggested that the design of the Stargate itself might not be changed much, at least not at this early stage of the process. To be honest with you, in my head, I parked the Stargate itself, because I know that is a slightly untouchable element, he said, and so I parked it. When you come against elements in project that are a bit cloudy in your head, you have to park them on and go through the process of finding everything around the Stargate to then feed it back into it. It's such a key element, and the symbols are so key. The way it moves has been determined, but I know it's sitting out there, and we parked it. Jarrow clarified that Crowley's approach is to not begin with the Stargate, but to allow the whole of the production design to organically inform whether and how the gate itself might ultimately be tweaked. Ultimately, the goal is to produce a gate that feels authentic to viewers' memories, using the best of contemporary technologies. A new ship. Jarrow praised Crowley and Lemmer for already bringing a new perspective to the long-running franchise. That includes designing a brand new ship, the look of which Jarrow had locked in his mind, and an early concept art development for the pitch before giving in and letting Crowley and Lemmer take a crack at it. There was this one ship that I helped design, Jarrow said, and I was like, this is the only thing I just think is so cool. Crowley was like, okay. And then, literally, the first image he ever showed me, he was like, look, I know you love that ship. I know you think that ship is so cool. We can totally do that if you want. But what if it looked like this instead? And it's the coolest. I wish they'd show you what the fucking ship is they're talking about. The first image he showed me.
It's a giant flying dildo.
Oh my god. I just show everyone that is involved with the show or that were enticing to be in the show. The old idea is gone. I'm so glad he didn't stick with my dumb idea. Since the ship's original design was part of the series pitch to Amazon, we expect to see it in action in the first episode. Are they referring to the Daedalus? Where did that little squirrel star go? He waddled away. Joseph Malazzi is writing. Consulting producer Joseph Malazzi is also writing an episode for the first season currently at the outlining stage. I don't know what I'm allowed to say about that, mostly for guild rules, Jarrow said, but yeah, he's going to write a script. Absolutely. Joe just sent me an outline. It was just great. What do you guys think Chatfish is?
I think that I've heard similar things said by people before, and then the adaptation turned out to be a complete shit show.
Yeah, because like I'm reading this myself to get a better understanding.
He's saying a lot of good things, but
It's like we
also
want to be faithful,
it
we
could
want
all
to
be
do stuff,
bullshit.
and we're also going to park the idea of the gate in our heads. But like you're parking the idea of the gate. So philosophically, I have to ask myself a couple of questions here. Why is it so keen that we're parking this thing? You know, like as a thing. Like why are we so keen on discussing the gate and its functionalities and canon and its visual appearance? But it's super identifiable, so we don't want to change it. But we're going to park that idea. What does parking means? We're going to drive at some point. I don't like that verbiage. You know what I mean? Like it implies that we're going to take her for a spin and change it a little bit, right? It's like the ship thing. Like I was just reading, talking about the ship. I had this idea for a great ship. Okay, that's wonderful. But what about the ships about the setting, right? Because the way they're writing the show for this new Stargate show is supposed to be a continuation of the story. It's not going to be a resetting. It's not going to be a rebooting. Like all the events that happened, the battle with the Ori, the battle with the Guold, all this stuff happened. That's great that you're going with the canon, and we're not going to try rebooting it. We're just going to like accept those things as canon, and we're going to build on top of that. So this is in the future. This is 2026. The Stargate program's been running for like 40 years now, and so it's been running for a long time. It's been, humanity's doing new stuff in the galaxy, and so we're going to have new ships and new technology and equipment, and so the timeline's progressing forward. I like that. It's like Star Trek. It's actually what I love about Star Trek with originally the shows. The shows just kept advancing the timeline. They didn't go back and reboot themselves, right? Awesome. But one thing I am concerned about is the verbiage they use where they refer to parking things like, oh, I love the ideas of these things, and we're just gonna, but it's I need to park it because I don't want to change it. It's like, okay, but like why didn't you just say like, oh, we love the Stargate, it's awesome, I can't wait to like see the new visuals for how we're gonna produce it, because we're gonna have a new set for it, new actual elements. It'll like spin more or something. I don't know. It'll spin more. Like it's already kind of like a thing, right? Like you can't really change the Stargate. And what's funny is they did in the TV show, right? There was worlds where they built new Stargates, and there were ancient Stargates from the older parts of the ancient empire by the old human ancients, right? That they had created. It's like, okay, those had existed, you know, but at the same time, like you can't really go like, all right, does humanity make a new Stargate? Did we finally learn how to build them? Is that what you mean? Because that's okay by me. But are we changing the Stargates that are on every planet that the ancients had seeded everywhere? That's where I'm asking questions, because like technically the old Stargate should still look and behave like it is, because that's just what it is. It's a circle. It's got those little indentures. That's just how that technology was built. Sure, if humanity reverse engineers and finally builds their own Stargate, yeah, it should look new. It should look like its own piece of technology. But the big question we have to ask ourselves is it gonna be that way? And that's why I find it a little concerning in how he words stuff, right? Amazon Prime greenlit the show because they want to get the Stargate audience back. Stargate was huge. For context, when Science Fiction Channel or Sci-Fi Channel originally was created, it showed a lot of science fiction movies and stuff from like way, way long ago, right? But the Sci-Fi Channel had nothing original. The first show to be original on the Stargate channel, or Sci-Fi Channel, sorry, was not Stargate. It was actually a show called Farscape. Some of you might have heard of it. Farscape was huge. It sort of blew open the door for the Sci-Fi Channel, and they're like, oh, we can fund sci-fi original TV shows. Rather than just re-airing old sci-fi movies on this channel, we can also produce new shows, which got MGM, or whoever the company's name was, I can't remember, to start greenlighting new science fiction TV show productions. So new science fiction TV shows got greenlit. And so Farscape opened that door. Farscape is revolutionary in that regard. Farscape opened the door for Stargate. And the Air Force, being, it was in the 2000s, was looking to get a more military recruitment drive. Well, the Air Force sponsored a TV show called Stargate. And it was a movie originally based on like a older concept, about a team of troopers that travel through a portal to fight a alien to basically stop them from coming through the portal and attacking Earth. And so that's when, they basically opened that up, right? And so they're like, oh, we can make a TV show out of this. And then that's when, what's his nuts? I can't remember his name. He played an actor and he was important for writing the show. Oh, he's a pretty good actor. I can't remember his name. He's old, and unfortunately his health is declining right now, and that's why he's not taking an active role in Stargate anymore. It's also why he stopped participating in...
Oh, no, when a chat said someone about not being there because of their health. Let me scroll up. Richard Dean Anderson?
Richard Dean Anderson, yes. Yeah, that's the one. Also, welcome to stream, Richard. Ironic. Yeah, Richard Dean Anderson. He's really old. He played Colonel Jack O'Neill in the actual show. He also helped direct it. So that was like an important thing. What were you going to say?
He said there's donations from Von Felsenbrout.
Okay, read it.
So there's 3 donations, 2 for £5 and 1 for 2. That's an extended message. It says, part of my issue with the Lord of the Rings remake is I worry it will lack the soul and passion that the Jackson trilogy had. I worry it will all be CGI bullshit instead of the amazing practical effects we got. Like, I've been to the Shire and it still stands in Matamata. I visited and felt the magic. Can't get that with CGI.
Yeah, absolutely. I 100% agree with you. CGI has a place, right? For things that you can't do. But CGI was only used when they had to use it. Like, I watched the developer commentaries for Lord of the Rings and Two Towers, especially Two Towers. That was my favorite one. So I watched those ones a lot. So, you know the set for when the water breaks in the dam and it like floods Isengard and stuff like that? And then, you know, like the water comes crashing down? It was actually a real thing.
Yeah.
Like, it was actually real. Like, the water rushing and all that was real. Like, that was real stuff. Like, they simulated it, and then that's why it looks so good. They used the CGI because, well, they couldn't actually, you know, recreate that damage, but there was like little plastic army men they used to, like, you know, fall over and stuff, and they used that to map stuff. And so basically that was kind of how they did it. Same for Helm's Deep. Helm's Deep was a large, beautiful set they created, and then they took, like, actually filmed it and then added the people as CGI in it, right? Same for the battles. The battles themselves were of actual areas, and then they had 3D models actually fighting each other. They created a rudimentary AI, and they thought they had broken through, by the way. It's cute when you think about it. But when they were working on this particular AI, they thought they had accidentally created artificial intelligence. Because when the battle script that they ran and had the troopers fight each other, right? And like fight, when they clashed in melee, they started noticing, oh my god, some of them are running away. Like, they were just like dudes running away on either side. Because they were like, oh, they're like turning and they're fleeing because they don't want to die. No, it's because the model got turned around and it was running forward looking for a target. I just thought that was funny. But yeah, so like that was one thing that they had there, because I remember watching that. They were like, oh my god, I can't believe it. It's like it's scared of dying. It's like, no, it just lost target. It's just running around. But yeah, so that's how they use that for a lot of things.
It's always funny when AI models and other things bug the fuck out, and they're like, "Oh my god, it's intelligent." It's like, no, it's just broken.
Nope, the model just lost its target acquisition. Bucky, there you are. I was like asking you questions, and then you disappeared.
Oh yeah.
I was talking about okay, I'll get back to my question that I had.
They're not gonna honor canon. By the way, they're not gonna honor canon. They're gonna fucking lie.
Yeah, I know. I was reading this because we were okay. You know what? Fuck it. Well, let's get back to the Bucky question, because they talked about this new ship, and I'm like, this great new ship. All right, what's this new ship about? Like, I really want this new ship, but they wanted to use the old ship because it was iconic, and it's like, okay, why are you so butt mad about this new ship in your head? Like, this new ship sounds like my new sci-fi show for my story. And I'm going to use Stargate as the device for my story. And then he talks about parking the gate, too. It's like, oh, the gate, like, it's one of those things that's very important to design, but we're going to park the idea of that for now. Park it. You know, just I'm not going to change anything about it now.
Correct. Because he doesn't, it's too iconic for him to fuck with, which is why he's not changing it. That's why he's calling it parking.
You're parking the idea of changing it.
Yeah. And so there are certain things he can't change yet. But when he says 1 foot firmly planted in the story, the
Yeah,
canon,
and then
and
another
then one
as
large
far,
leap.
far out as possible. And I was like, because I'm reading that, and I'm thinking to myself, like, I'm trying to take this as like, okay, let's just hear what he has to say, right? And as he says that, he's like, I want to put 1 foot firmly planted in the canon and the faithfulness, and then I want to take my other foot and I want to plant it as far as humanly possible away from that. It's like, okay. So
Yeah.
you don't actually want to. The Amazon sounds like Amazon's forcing him to have his foot planted in the cannon, and he wants
Yeah.
nothing to do with that.
Yes.
So-
This is another Halo TV series situation.
Yep.
Amazon is paying. Now, this is what my suggestion to Amazon. Amazon, you're making a mistake here. You need to get rid of this guy. Like, the reality is that he doesn't want to write Stargate, and so you should just get rid of him now, because he's going to make you pay for his own science fiction story that he wants to tell that isn't Stargate, and the people who are going to come to watch this aren't Stargate fans. And I know you only care about one thing, Amazon. You just want profits, and you're not going to get those profits from this. You're going to just end up
Also-
burning money.
I want to point out something, Kibbs. When he said that his first thing that he wanted to change was make a cool ship,
Yeah.
it already told me what series in the Stargate universe that he was paying attention to.
There's only
Oh
one
no,
ship.
it's based off of universe.
Stargate universe. He also talked about how he wanted to ground the story more and make it more realistic, but keep it with those mythologies and science fiction elements, but keep it more realistic for grounded drama. You know what Stargate show did that? Stargate universe.
Universe.
This motherfucker's a Stargate universe fan, and he's going to try to
Yeah.
revive Stargate universe. The same
Yep.
show that killed Stargate.
Because again, the reason I get that is because Stargate SG-1 and Atlantis almost at no point were they using ships. The ships were used incredibly sparingly in the series.
Yeah, they were used sparingly so that whenever you saw the ships do something, it was cool. Like, you remember the battle for the Antarctic and how cool that
Yeah.
was? Like, with this huge fleet battle? It was brief.
And that was the XO-1 fucking taking pummeling shots. It had to go to a last-ditch ramming effort.
Yep, as they were having an air battle to basically fight off the Goulds while they were basically using the
Yeah.
Atlantis defense, or not Atlantis, the Antarctic defense station to fire back against the ships.
And I think it was Colonel Mitchell. Like, that's how they introduced him in to take over.
Yep, he was an XO-1 pilot. He got downed.
Yep. Well, XO-2, but yes.
XO-2, I mean.
Or the XO-2 or XO-3, I can't remember. No, XO-3.
XO-3.
Because XO-2 was the one that went into space and fucking detonated.
Oh yeah, that's the one they lost right away, and the XO-2 wasn't. Yes, okay.
Yeah, so XO-3 was the one that was the one he was using. And then he crash landed in the Antarctic, and it's like, okay, well, yeah, that's fucking cool because it tied it into the most iconic fight in SG-1.
Yeah, he's a character you can get
Um,
behind. It's also cool
yeah.
because they also chose a good actor. He's actually not bad.
I guarantee you, almost none of the actors are going to come back in any meaningful way.
No, they're probably not.
No.
Man, this is the first time it's like, oh, they're gonna reboot Stargate, or not reboot, but do what? Because the one thing I'm afraid of, right, is them
A
going like,
soft reboot.
we're gonna reboot Stargate. Like, please God, don't. Like, just do what Star Trek did. Star Trek had the original series, and then they had Next Generation, because they just continued the story, and that's how they did it. They just continued the story. They didn't reboot it. But the problem is then they're like, let's just reboot it with a different timeline. And that's why we get the woke shit.
No, here's my issue currently. We left off with Stargate SG-1 with basically the Tauri being the apex,
Yeah, there's
civilization.
only
in the
one threat. It's like the criminal syndicate, and they don't have enough power to actually challenge us. They're kind of weak.
Yes. And at that point, like the U.S., the world is already aware pretty much that aliens exist and that they've been fucking around.
Yeah.
And at this point, it would just be Earth stepping into the civilizational role of a Kardash or Kardash / Tier 2 society or more. And then the world adapting to the changes. That would be the only way you'd be able to do this.
The only thing I can think they do is they can sort of do that plot where they had, like, the Russians had their own gate, and then you have, like, a different nation sort of competing for influence But the issue is
Yeah,
they
you
kind of
can't do that, though.
destroyed that gate, so it doesn't work anymore.
Well, I mean, it doesn't work anyways because with it, you have to have DHD, and if you have DHD, then there can only be one gate that controls the address.
Yeah, for that planet. And also
Yeah.
the United States Air Force already has ships. Like they cannot compete.
Well, Russia and China also have a ship, but that's the one was called the Phoenix. The other one was called like some Jergoff or whatever.
Yeah, but like they don't have enough strength to contest. At least in
No.
the lore, because like we have like
Well,
a bajillion ships.
Yeah, and that's the big thing is like, okay, well, what do you do at this point? You're already top dog in the galaxy. Are they gonna pull a fucking Halo Infinite where they go, oh well, guess what? You lose everything. Tee you're back down to square one.
Actually, we've met a race and they blew up our ship, and also our stuff doesn't work anymore. Now we don't know nothing. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
Or actually, the ancients fought an enemy that was super scary. Was it the Wraith? No, it was actually super scarier than the Wraith. It was the
Was it
super
was it
dupers.
was it the replicators? No, it was worse than that too.
Worse than that? Okay. Like, they didn't talk about that in any of their logs about how scary this race was. It's like that one
Yeah.
race from Halo where it's like, the Flood were pretty scary, but actually, it's these little potato chip people that are actually the scariest. It's like, what?
It's like is it the Ori with their godlike powers? No, it's even worse than that. Okay,
Worse
guy.
than them? Okay. Like, we're replicators. Literally, we're wiping out another galaxy adjacent to ours, while the Asgard were fighting a war against machines in a galaxy-scale war. That's why humanity had to take over as stewards, because the Asgard couldn't maintain order in this galaxy anymore. And we're also a dying race.
That. But like the humans have access to the Asgard. I mean, what was it? Master computer thing that they installed in one of the ships.
Mhm.
The Asgard core. That's what it is. They loaded all of their civilization's technology into that fucking core thing. They've also have all of the secrets of Atlantis fully unlocked for them at this point.
And they also
because
have
they activated
Atlantis
the
on
worm
Earth,
drive.
don't they, at the end of
On
everyone?
Earth, yes.
Yeah, so we have it back in our own system, and Atlantis is ours. We have the
Yes.
keys to the kingdom.
Yeah, and then not only this, but you also have the ability, like you already know how to build a weapon that could kill gods because you've already used it once. Because like they wiped the aura.
Yeah, the
out,
Ark.
which only left.
It
Yeah.
kills gods, yeah. Like, what
Well,
the
no,
fuck
that-
is the new enemy gonna be? It's gonna be like, it's the Gould 2.0. They're now slugs. It's like, okay. They're now
The only thing I can think of is parallel universe shit, but even then, it doesn't make sense to me because they already ran that course.
Yeah, because we did the parallel universe where Earth was under attack by the Gould. The System Lords had united, and Earth was under siege because they time travel back to that world, and then they finally let them leave because Earth is the SGC is about to fall.
Now the Stargate opens up.
That was a good episode. I like that one.
Yeah.
They realize the coordinates are Earth, and alternate universe. But Russia got it. And now Russia's invading.
The Soviet Union never fell and got the Stargate working. Or wait, they're gonna do the Nazis got the gate.
And here's my issue, right? All like their weapons at this stage are like, I don't know how they're gonna do it because there are so many real world events that were impacting Stargate SG-1's like canon anyway. I don't know how they're gonna play it now. I bet you they're gonna throw an Orange Man bat in there.
Be like, the president is so racist that he hates aliens, and also he wants the gate program shut down. It's like, oh, okay.
No, what if it's like we've been moved to clandestine operations to keep from the president from finding out that this thing exists?
What the fuck?
Because we don't know if he's a threat.
He's actually possessed by a orange slug. It's like, oh my god.
Yeah, but that's what I think they're gonna do.
This is like some XCOM bullshittery. What's funny about Stargate chat, for those who haven't seen it, if you like XCOM, but you wanted humanity to be on the offense, Stargate is XCOM but mankind on the offense instead of the defense.
It was mankind stumbling into it from the kiddie pool into the fucking deep end, and then trying to figure out how to run back to the kiddie pool, and then just fighting on the back foot until they start making allies.
Yes, because we're basically in a galaxy where everyone's bigger and more powerful than us. And even the guys who are sympathetic to us are not really able to really help us or protect us. And the system lords are the only reason why we have anything going for us is because the movie they kill the chief in charge of the system lords. And because he's
Yeah,
dead,
Raw. That blew up Raw.
yeah, they
Out of
killed
nowhere.
Raw, and so that's basically shattered the Gould Empire into little warring states for succession.
Yeah.
Because basically, it's if you're familiar with the Romance of the Three Kingdoms, that's basically happening in space because of what we did. Yeah, so, and they don't like us for that, by the way. So yeah, it's a very interesting like concept, like as a universe. It's like mankind touches the stars for a little bit, kills a god, shatters an empire. The empire is now a series of warring states, and then we are able to survive because we're able to pit them against each other and make allies, slowly getting stronger and new tech to fight back with. Eventually getting our own spaceship program and building up our own defensive fleet so that we can actually defend our orbit and our solar system.
Until we were popping, Hatak class vessels with just lasers from Asgard beams.
Oh god, the poor Hataks. They're so cute, but like they're so garbage at like a certain point. Because like the Gould technology are super plateaued. It's a race where they steal technology from other races, and so that's how they've gotten on the top. They managed to basically steal a bunch of tech from a fallen civilization, and they don't really know how to build on top of that. They do make new technology, but they're really slow at it.
And only Anubis and Ball do that, really.
Yep. And the other system lords were not very good at advancing tech.
And almost everything that the Gould do or build is a form of terror because that's what they believe.
They rule through fear.
Yeah.
It's the only way they can rule because the reality is they're just fucking slugs that control people. They're so pathetic as a species. They literally have to wear our like meat as a skin so that they can actually feel strong and powerful. Because the reality is they're just a little worm.
Little snakes that get eaten by Unas.
Yeah. Unas eat them for breakfast. Like sad snake lives. All snake lives matter, chat. No.
They don't.
And there's only one group of them that's kind of somewhat okay, and that's the what do you call it? The whatchamadoozies, Tok'ra.
Oh, there's another one.
Was there another group of them?
No.
Was
there a temporary member of SG-1?
It wasn't the Tok'ra?
He was the black guy from Texas.
Black guy from Texas. Why don't I remember this?
We should.
I should. I've seen the show like 4 times.
What
was his name?
Hold on. I gotta find it's a really specific alien that if you smell him, you remember him.
Was this a singular episode? This must have been a singular episode.
Yes, it was a singular episode.
The Tok'ra were an interesting concept. That was some quality world building. Yeah, the Tok'ra were interesting because it was like, yeah, so some of the Gould actually, or well, the Tok'ra don't like being called that. The Tok'ra worms actually want to live symbiotically with humans as friends and not be mean to humans. Like, can we live inside you, please?
And then there's that whole episode where there's a Gould pretending to be a Tok'ra.
Yes, where he's infiltrated the Tok'ra. And the Tok'ra are mad because their queen is basically dead. Or wait, they find their queen. But isn't she fucked up and they can't make new Tok'ra? They're like a dead-end species, basically. Where the ones who are alive for the Tok'ra, and who are, if they're dead, like every loss is like tragic because they can't replace their numbers. Because they need their queen to replace the dead Tok'ra. And that one race was turning them into jelly.
So the Tok'ra literally only had a single female, basically?
Yeah.
Tyler sounds familiar.
Tyler, Show and Tell season 2, episode 20.
Picture.
Oh, hold
Oh,
on.
before I forget, is there a stretch goal this week, Kibbs?
Yes, there is. We need to reach 400 over the weekly for an art course class for Indio and the outfits for
He's the 5th
Aerith.
member. Hold on.
What outfits for Aerith?
We're gonna get a 90s outfit.
So we
Let's
need to get
see.
600 over total.
It's got a chatfish wearing a
Nice.
backwards hat.
There you go. There you go. I sent it to you.
Let's see. Discord. Oh, yep. Okay. All right. Yeah, this is the big thing is like you gotta like because he was like blending in, wasn't he? Artificial identity placed into the minds of SG-1 to disguise as a real in an attempt to evade Jaffa forces. Real took the name from an MRE made in Tyler, Texas. Tyler. Yeah, he was named after a food. Tyler had been taken into captivity by Jaffa troops to be returned for study to unlock his secrets. He managed to escape his prison and crashed the transport vessel on a planet where he escaped and encountered SG-1. In moments, he had fully integrated a month's worth of memories with him into their minds. Yep, because they thought he was one of them, and SGC was like, who the fuck is Tyler? And they're like, what are you talking about? Tyler's been with us. He's wounded. We were helping him. He's been a member of the SGC forever, and he's never been a member of their team.
Yeah, that was one of the good episodes.
Yeah, that was
It's like, who the fuck?
It was a mindfuckery episode. That was a good one, yeah. Should I what? Space?
Mythic is saying the Asgard could have saved the queen, but they didn't.
Mythic is saying what? The queen is old and they find her on a planet being used as breeding stock for Tritonin. Yep. But
Yeah.
the Asgard could have cloned her. They have genetic memories. They could. The question is, how do they make a new queen? Are any Tok'ra capable of becoming a queen? Or no?
The answer is yes, but they have also lost the ability to do so.
They don't know
Hathor
how.
was one of the last ones.
Yeah, because the Tok'ra are kind of like, we don't know how, do nothing. We've been fighting a rebellion against the rest of the Gould forever.
But
And yes, they do have
just to
genetic
make
memory. That's why Gould, normally born of the Gould queen, are always evil because, well, they literally have the memories of their queen and all the other ones that predated them, and they're evil. Versus the Tok'ra tried to be good. And the reason why they're always good, well, at least they have a tendency to be always good, is because they all have genetic memory of being good.
Mm-hmm.
just to elaborate, chat, 400 of the weekly for Indio getting some art classes, and then 200 after that for a new Aerith outfit.
I find this funny. English is like, no, the Tok'ra are only dying for the lack of hosts, not the lack of breeding. But that's not true.
No, there's not a shortage of volunteers to become Tok'ra hosts, because a Tok'ra host being a volunteer, it means that your immune system's stronger.
The massive health benefits.
Yes, like the thing is, technically humans and symbiotes, which is what they're called, if we actually join together, well, we do share the same body and we take turns, right, with the body that we have. The benefits is Tok'ra can actually repair your body. So if you have cancer, the Tok'ra can actually heal it inside of you. They can also improve and basically double your lifespan working inside your body. So there's huge benefits, because there's a huge story element where Samantha Carter's dad is terminally ill and goes and joins the Tok'ra because that way he can live. He would have died otherwise. And he gets a symbiote, and basically they live together and they share the same body. It's a huge plot element and part of the story. There's not a shortage of people who'd want it, because, again, if the alternative is you share your body with another being, and the being is a good being, well, that's not so bad, because you would have been dead. Now you're going to live to be like 200.
They also don't forcibly take control.
Yes, they respect the host.
They just speak through you sometimes.
Mm-hmm. They share. They just want a home. Hello, how you doing? Yeah, I don't mind the
Kids
Tok'ra.
wants brainworms.
I don't want to share my body personally, but I like the concept of the, Tok'ra being a symbiotic species with humans, because, like...
Kibbs wants 2 brainworms getting it on in his head.
No. Like, ooh, Wrigley's.
Why not just have it in your belly?
A chatfish sees a little fucking symbiote swim by, and they look at it and they just like snap their mouth and eat it, crunch it up.
Then the chatfish's eyes glow more,
Oh
flash white,
no, because it's possessed.
and then just kind of stares blankly with its eyes looking in different directions.
It's terrible. I want one, says Moogie. I don't know if I want one. I like the idea of the Tok'ra as an alien race because they're not just evil.
You know that
Yeah.
gif of a fish, someone putting food on a fish and it just, and the food just instantly gone because it just swallows it instantly? That's how chatfish eat.
Yeah, I don't necessarily know if I want a symbiote inside me yet. I think I'd rather just die at night.
What about just
I'd rather
having it in your
just-
belly, like
Oh, a Gould, or not a Gould, Jaffa incubators. Yes, because men,
fine.
male Jaffa. That's something that's interesting. Women don't have that X because only men do, because women can't have it because they have a womb. Men get a womb if you're Jaffa for a Gould like baby because you raise them in your belly. It's weird.
Yep.
You also get health benefits from it.
Yes.
Oh wow. Your immune system dies.
Yeah, your immune system is
From it.
entirely dependent on it, though. Yeah. You need one. Without the little junior, as they called it, Teal'c would die.
Chatfish, you want to have worm babies?
The scene that was the grossest was when they reached their hands into those little pouches. I don't like it. I don't. Female Jaffa also
Teal'c
need a
is-
snake? No, female Jaffa shouldn't have it. Because they're not supposed to. They don't have wombs if they have it. They can't have babies.
Yeah.
Because most Jaffa women don't actually have the pouch. The whole thing about those Jaffa women having that pouch were like they were Amazonian warriors. Or something. Wasn't it? Fuck, I don't remember. It's been ages. And they can't have kids because they don't have wombs.
Yeah, there's no mention of breeding Tok'ra queens outside of the original. That's why in season 7's Death Nail, Jacob and Salome pretty much said, "We're dying." This would help save the Tok'ra.
Yes,
The whole
because
point of the Techonin thing being a problem and why it would fracture the alliance between the Tok'ra and the Tari.
Yep, because it basically introduced that humanity had the answer to their extinction.
Yes. And I don't know why Dracon is saying that. But yes, basically the Tok'ra become a non-factor after that season.
Yes.
Because they only show up in Continuum for ball for a ceremony, but they are in essence a dying race.
Yep. The Tok'ra also, if I remember right, plot-wise, was not popular amongst the common viewers, and so they stopped actually making plots about them.
Yeah, because I hated the espionage thing, because it was dumb.
I like the Tok'ra. I just didn't really like the spy thingy. Mostly because the spy episodes weren't handled the best, in my opinion.
You know, most sci-fi spy episodes of anything are going to be handled like
potatoes, because it's like,
Yeah.
I'm infiltrating this alien society. But they're aliens.
Why do they not have sensors inside their hallways that could detect non?
Yeah, it's like
Jaffa.
one of those things where it's like, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
It only worked when Daniel snuck aboard the System Lord ship and pretended to be the servant for the guy that was going fucking Alzheimer's.
You.
Yeah, you. My favorite goddamn System Lord. He deserves so much more screen time.
He is so old
He's so senile.
because he was actually there in ancient China. That was what the funny part was.
The reason why he was dressed the way like a Chinese warlord is because he was there and he was on Earth during that period, and that's why he also is like just completely like, huh? Where am I? Where am
Yeah.
I?
It was the first time a fucking ghoul could have Alzheimer's. dementia. It's
Yeah,
so
so
great.
ghouls do get Alzheimer's
It
if they
also
live long enough.
established that the sarcophagus eventually does just kill the brain, basically.
Yes.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah, because they talk about that because of Apophyse's victim. Apophyse's victim that he's inside of, even if he were to be freed from the parasite inside of him, it wouldn't matter because he's the person there's just so gone. Because every time they use that sarcophagus, the person weakens each time. That's how they basically break the people that they take control forcibly. Versus the
Thinks about the
Tok'ra,
episode where
don't do that.
Jack just keeps getting killed and tortured, and they just keep throwing him in a sarcophagus.
Mm-hmm. Well, remember, it's over
It's
like thousands of years
he's
of
like
use.
yeah, it's like fucking balls like dropping acid and knives on him.
It was pretty fucked up, honestly, that episode.
he's like, help me, Daniel, if you're real, help me, do something. Fuck.
I can't.
And Daniel shows up, it's like, I can't.
There are rules
But he
for me
does,
being a
and he
god.
breaks the rules.
And then he breaks the rules, yeah. Because Daniel's our
Over and over.
boy. I like Daniel. Daniel's
All the
a
other,
pretty good
all the
character.
other, like ancients are just basically like, hey, but we can't. We just have to stand here and watch the bad guys break the rules and, you know.
Oh god, the
Fuck
ancients.
everything.
Like the ancients, when they ascend, they're so fucking stupid. I hate them. But at the same time, I like
yeah.
that they're dumb because if they intervene, it'd be like it's the same reason because the ancients are basically the Q, like in Star Trek. If the Q intervene, that's so lame. Like they snap their fingers, the Borg are gone. Oh well, that's boring.
Yeah.
That's
I think the interesting thing more is the fact that Daniel has died so many fucking times in the series.
Yeah, he's become an
He just keeps coming
ancient.
back.
Yeah, because he's learned how to game the system. He's a little
Yeah.
exploiter. He's a fucking min-maxer.
I like when he
They-
came back the first time, and like they find him just on a planet, and he's like, he doesn't have glasses because he doesn't know.
Yeah.
He
He's
doesn't.
like, oh, I can see now.
I can see.
I just thought that's how the world was.
It's blurry. Daniel's a fun character. I think of all the characters that they had fill in, the one guy they had fill in for Daniel, Jonah, was probably the weakest of the Stargate like actors, in my opinion.
Well, is why they brought him back because they were going to cut out his character by doing that, and it didn't work. Daniel's character was one of the only ones that didn't get a renewal initially.
Mm-hmm. And then, like, he's such a good actor, though. Like, it's like you gotta have
And
him.
they kept writing him back in. That was the fun part, is that the writers for the show kept writing him back into the show to keep him there. Because I don't know who it was. Either the director or somebody higher up didn't like his character or didn't want to pay him.
Didn't like him or something. They had some sort
Yeah,
of beef.
yeah. And so they kept writing him back in until it forced him to be back in the show.
And then they just gave up. I'm like, fine, you're back. Whatever, fuck off.
Yeah, fuck off, yeah.
It's like because the problem is he's got a lot of charisma and he's actually a really good actor. And
Mhm.
like getting rid of him, like the Jonah guy, he's not a bad actor, but like you've got this savant and then you've got like a decent actor. The savant is like, why are you letting the savant go? Like keep him. He's gold. Like he's gold. His chemistry is great. Like his chemistry with oh my god, his chemistry with fucking Dean was amazing. Like it's like just
Actually,
perfect.
I know a character that's better than Daniel.
Rodney, that's what we're gonna say.
Yeah, Rodney.
Rodney's fantastic too. Rodney is actually amazing. He's also a very good man in real life.
I love how every episode sort of like where he's kind of the center focus, he actually gets a lot of character development and it's just gone the next episode.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna point something out to fucking
Chumpus.
Yinglis here.
Oh, he's still
Retarded.
fighting? Okay.
So Jolinar is not a Tok'ra queen. Jolinar just preferred female hosts. The official gender of Jolinar's symbiote is agender, female personality. She's not a fucking Tok'ra queen.
Yeah, she just preferred female hosts. Stupid Yinglis. He's like, how did it feel being wrong, Yinglis? Oh, now he's gonna say he didn't say that.
Now he's gonna goalpost.
He's a goalpost.
Speaking of
moving.
Yinglis and those ilk, Chatfish, if Conusfic is funded, it is one We'll need to see some donations, otherwise it's going to get cut in 3 days. If it's funded, Dead Glory will become Yinlit Glory
That's
Yeah,
cursed.
for 6
because
months.
Egeria, which is the queen of the Tok'ra, their race is stated to be Gould Queen, not Tok'ra agender. Even the rank says queen.
That's
It's
true.
literally, it is a separate type of entity. It is like the queen bee versus worker bee.
They're not the same. The worker
They're
bee
not the
might
same.
be female, but it's not a queen.
Yeah, but Jingless, why would you respond with like Jolinar and like the other chick if you weren't trying to say that as like Nice or whatever, that the Tok'ra aren't dying out. The Tok'ra are dying out. They're dying.
This is a curious character. I cannot wrap my head around his genius. I don't know.
And I don't know why he brings them up in response to the Tok'ra Queen, saying that showing the Tok'ra dying.
I wasn't
don't know
saying
why he
that they
brings it
were,
up.
but I brought it up because I didn't want to say directly because I didn't know. But
Yeah.
no,
Gainless.
I did.
A queen is just a symbiote able to produce larvae. Correct. The problem is there was only one in the Tok'ra faction that could.
Yep.
And that was Egeria, and she's dead.
They had one
The
queen.
Tok'ra are dying.
Meaning is whenever a Tok'ra croaks, it's the last Tok'ra. It's gone.
Yeah.
I mean, the show never got biology of things, so most of all, this is just speculation, says Krister Jonsel. But they also established the rules of these things, though. That's the issue. No, Artemis, says Yinglis. He's just doubling fucking down.
Yeah.
He's never gonna concede because he can't. Rewatch the. Oh, see, now look, he's moved the goalpost to rewatch the show. And even if you do it, he'll just say, no, you're wrong. Like, that's what he's gonna do. I'm calling it now, boys.
Mm-hmm.
It's over.
So the only way a female host in Tok'ra can have progeny is if they have sex with another hosted Gould. And they produce the monstrosity that has the fucking mind of a Gould and the body of a human.
Yes, which the Gould are afraid of those things because it's a human that has genetic memory. And genetic memory is very powerful because all the knowledge of their father and their mother is now combined into one being, making them incredibly intelligent. Artemis, stop.
I don't know what he wants me to stop. The whole point is that the show clearly stated
You're putting words in my mouth.
Okay, well, tell me, are the Tok'ra dying out? Do they have another queen that is producing Tok'ra for them? Answer me this, and then tell me which person is doing it. Which Tok'ra symbiote is doing it?
We need to destroy English, guys. He's being
You
sassy.
just rewatched the show. Just tell me who you're referring to that is the one making the symbiote.
It's easier. See, you don't understand, Bucky. Rewatch the show means you have to stop the conversation and rewatch the show. And then he can just waddle away and then pretend the conversation never happened. That's exactly what he's doing, and you know it.
I just want him to tell me who he's referring to.
This is like when people screenshot Yinlis saying I'm a Yinlit, and he's like, I never said that. Deep fake, deep fake.
deep fake.
Or the fact that he tried to pretend he was on my side, even though I immediately, from the moment he started talking, that I knew he was just a double agent.
Yinlis doesn't have an inner monologue.
Yeah,
he does. He confirmed that. Don't roll your eyes, you little retard.
Yeah, English. Tell me. Be direct. Do the Tok'ra have a symbiote producing queen?
Is English in a mood today, boys? I think he might be in a bit of a mood today.
Everyone stop. Keep going.
Everyone stop.
I just look, chat. Sometimes you have to call English out like this.
He's so mad today.
Because says everyone stop. Keep going.
English, don't be cranky. Come on, little guy. Come on. He's like, no, I don't like you anymore.
We need the Aerith with the smashed in head emote for the
Oh, for the model.
Well, we need that, yes, but we need it on the YouTube.
That's a good emoji, Dad. We should add it. Yeah.
I have no issues rewatching Stargate SG-1 just because it's a great series.
Yeah, it's a fantastic show.
Yeah, I just want Yinglis to tell me directly how the
It's a
Tok'ra are
shame
dying
Yinless
out.
is gray. He can't use the Robin emote.
Yeah,
What is English doing? Do you think he's typing a response, or do you think he's molding?
I'm molding. Definitely, he can do both, but he's definitely molding.
He's definitely molding.
I think Yinless waddled away.
He's fucking. He's just so mad. Yes, let's all watch SG-1.
Yeah, okay. So now he's dodging.
This
Okay.
is a psyop. Now he just wants to stop.
Yeah. Yeah. He's dodging. Now we can move on. I'm claiming this victory. English
English,
is wrong.
you have to accept
water's
defeat.
wet,
You can't
sky's
just say water's wet. English never change. Unironically, you're a staple of the channel now. You're a staple of the channel.
Yeah, but in any case, I 100% believe they're gonna fuck this up.
Yeah, based
Because
on
they're
this like it doesn't sound. Oh, wait, not this. Oh fuck! I just closed something. God damn it! I gotta open it. But it doesn't sound like they have any intention to be faithful whatsoever.
Yeah, basically it is the skin suit Stargate SG-1, and then the stories are just gonna be like, I don't know, Mass Effect or something. I don't know.
I wanted to make a Star Wars story. So
It's
I
a
did
Silver Universe now.
Stargate, or I wanted to write my own science fiction show, but I don't really like Stargate. But so there's Stargate in the corner. Whatever, it's not important. But back to my spaceship. It's like, oh my god, look at my spaceship. Look at how cool it is. You have
Again,
a
fundamentally,
good spaceship.
the moment they said spaceship, I was like, I knew they're trying to make this entire story on a goddamn spaceship.
I want to. This is actually a Firefly show, or this is Battlestar Galactica, or whatever I wanted to write. It's like the spaceships were kind of secondary to Stargate. They were there, but the show was never about them.
No, if everything they said just now about their interview is true, but the lead character is Rodney McKay, I'd forgive it all. I'll just watch it.
I mean, he can probably salvage it because it'll just be funny.
Yeah.
Rodney McKay is great. The actor is also stellar. But damn, he's old
Yeah.
now. He's an old man, but
Yeah.
he can be a sassy old man now. Sassy old. But the issue is, I don't think they're going to do that. I think they're going to have the other guys as like dressing on the background. Like, look, I remember Samantha Carter. I remember Teal'c. I remember this guy. And then they like disappear.
Remember
I
SG-1?
remember. Oh, look. Oh my God, look. Oh, there's a fucking Goa'uld guy. Look. Oh, he's just dead. He's a skeleton. I remember. I remember. Like that's it's gonna be.
I was sad when Amanda Tapping left Stargate SG-1
Why'd she leave again?
because it ended.
Oh, that's the. I wondered if there was another reason. But yeah,
No,
because she managed to actually become the
she-
director of the Atlantis project, which was nice because like her character actually progressed in the storyline, actually moved up the power chain of command.
well, it's because she became Fulberg Colonel,
Mhm.
and became the leader of SG-1 because Mitchell dipped, and so she was leading the team, and that was the end of it or whatever. And then I think she became a general at the end of Atlantis or whatever, or something. I can't remember, but she was really high up there at that point.
She went on to the Warehouse 13, didn't she? Or something like that? Or something.
Sanctuary.
Sanctuary, that's the one. Yeah, because after Stargate, Sci-Fi Channel. So real quickly recap. Sci-Fi Channel originally was about rehosting old science fiction movies. They gave somebody a chance. The show was called Farscape. Farscape blew up, and then that opened the door for Sci-Fi Channel to start funding more shows. Like, oh my god, this works. And so then they gave the green light to Stargate. Stargate then blew up too, and like, oh my god, this is making shit tons of money. We've got two bangers. And then Atlantis, and then Firefly, and like. They did a bunch of stuff.
They did Warehouse 13, Eureka,
yeah. Was
and
Firefly
then
Sci-Fi?
Sanctuary. Huh?
Actually, I don't know if Firefly was Sci-Fi Channel owned.
No, it was not.
No,
it was
a different channel.
Yep, but Eureka and Warehouse 13, and because they had a crossover event, for sci-fi, because they went to each other's fucked up interactions. So you had supernatural shit versus science shit. It was kind of funny.
Mm-hmm.
And then you had Sanctuary.
And Sanctuary. And then Amanda Tapping was in charge of the Sanctuary one. I remember my dad watched Sanctuary.
I was hoping that she would fucking allude to Stargate SG-1.
In the show?
Yeah, in the show. I just really wanted to.
Oh.
Because she's an immortal, by the way, in the Sanctuary.
Yeah. What's funny is there was a sci-fi show that did do that whole alluding thing that was funny. If you remember Kevin Sorbo from Hercules, he went and did a show called Andromeda in the 2000s. It was very wacky, but it was disappointed. But there was a scene in Andromeda where he opens they're in this room and like somebody's hijacked the ship, and he opens this panel and there's like a Hercules outfit and wig, and then he's like, it's a long story. It's a long story.
That's pretty good.
That was a nice reference to the Hercules show.
Mm-hmm. No, I can. Yeah, and then Mythic points out that Colonel Carter and O'Neill got together.
They banged. And
I knew they were
fucked.
dating. Yeah.
Good.
Or Rodney never recovered.
Rodney was happy because he was living the high life of being uber super fucking important.
And now he's super important and all the science babes.
Yeah, but he loves dumb blondes.
He did. He had the hots for Samantha.
He did.
Mm-hmm.
But
and he
Samantha
got her in the other universe.
Oh, in the other universe.
That was a hallucination.
That was a hallucination. God damn.
When we was at the bottom of the ocean.
Colonel Shepard getting all the women and fucking Rodney's like, why can't it be me? Why can't it should have been me? Andromeda got so bad, Sorbo took over and kept adding in hot girls for his character. Andromeda got so bad, Sorbo took over. Oh, that's such a butchered sentence. And kept adding hot girls for his character. Andromeda TV show was one of those shows that had a lot of really good ideas, but did not have the funding or the resources to pull off any of the ambitious ideas. And then they did the horrible mistake of doing that fucking thing where they go to a place and then the characters get stuck in a place. And that killed the show. It's like, we went to a planet and we're stuck on this planet. It's like, this is the planet that kills the show. And then when they get off, it's like, well, we got canceled. Now we got to end the show. We have one episode to do it. Should we not cram everything into one episode or 2 episodes or whatever? And then they crammed everything into 2 episodes. It's like, ooh, don't do that. Rodney got the girl in the last season. Sorbo took over. I can't remember. I just remember the issue with Andromeda is that it just ran into that, oh, let's go to a place, and then the characters get stuck in a place, and it just lasts for fucking ever.
And also, to be clear, chat, the reason I like Rodney McKay is 1, his character didn't evolve at all throughout the series, and 2, he was the peak Rodney of all universes.
Yep, every other Rodney was inferior.
Yes.
Well, you can't improve on perfection.
Yeah, you can't improve on perfection.
Yeah, and that's what was funny, because the other Rodneys died, by the way. Like, the cool Rodney died. He's trying to make a fucking ship and couldn't actually build. If you didn't know this, Gibbs, I think it was the Daedalus or the Pegasus or whatever was strapped with a universe hopping thing, and you could only go forward. He wasn't smart enough to figure out how to stop it from going into more and more universes.
So he just kept going forward.
So he just died.
Go back.
Yeah. And then Rodney McKay just fucking made it and had it reverse the other direction.
It's like, go
and then hop off
back.
Yeah.
Goddamn.
Did they lose most of the budget for the last season? I don't know.
Last season of what? Stargate?
Yeah, exactly.
Andromeda? Andromeda's budget was never good. It was one of those shows that was pretty promising, but never was able to fully go capitalize on it, despite its interesting premise. It was about a starship captain from the Commonwealth who was in charge of one of the most advanced warships of his era, but the Commonwealth fell, and when he woke up, it's basically a shattered galaxy. Earth was ransacked by the Magog and overrun, and all the powers that were kept in check by humanity were now running rampant. And then he had to basically recreate the Commonwealth, literally with gunboat tactics. And that's the show. The Andromeda
Yeah.
is just a gunboat that they use to just bludgeon other powers into signing up to the new Commonwealth. It's like, you will be a part.
So, Kibbs, what faction do you think is stronger? Tower E at the end of SG1, Continuum, or Peacekeepers?
Peacekeepers from like what, Farscape or something?
Yeah.
The Peacekeepers get their asses kicked. The Peacekeepers are powerful as an interstellar power, but they're not that powerful. Also, the Peacekeepers were getting their asses kicked by the fucking dragon people or whatever the fuck they were called, the lizard race that was kind
Yeah.
of militant.
Well, the reason I ask, because the Tower E don't have that many ships,
Yes.
right?
I mean, the Peacekeepers have a lot of
But
ships, but their ships aren't that good.
well, yeah, but
They had a
also
hard
the
time
Tower
catching
E-
a transport vessel.
I mean but the Tower E also have a fucking puddle jumper that can time travel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't
So-
think the Peacekeepers would do that well, because the Peacekeepers, all they really have is numbers, and
Mhm.
their technology is not particularly impressive in terms of its military capabilities.
Yeah.
And for God's sake, when Crichton jumped through the wormhole, his shuttle bonked into one of the fighters by accident and killed it, which caused the captain of the warship to think that he intentionally killed his brother, when it was clearly a fucking accident.
Yeah.
The shuttle...
Mythic says, no, that's because he used the work of the other McKays to save themselves. They died of the lack of supplies. Well, obviously, when you give
McKays.
McKay of our universe a life or death situation, he actually pulls through.
Yeah.
He always pulls through.
The other
He
McKays are
always pulls through.
Skelemans.
Yeah.
Actually, even willing to put himself on the line when it comes down to it.
He even knows if you put McKay in the threat of death, that McKay finds an answer. So
yes, one of my favorite villains in sci-fi is Scorpio. He's so goddamn rotten. He's so Scorpio.
Kibbs, you're my favorite villain. Do you like me yet? Don't worry, you will.
Don't worry, you will. I fucking hate that guy. I fucking hate him. Scorpio was a good antagonist because he was a great foil for the protagonist.
You only like the fucking drinking episode with the hallucination shit.
The what episode?
The hallucination.
Oh, where the 1812 starts playing?
Is it? No, it's the one where he's got like the fucking Hawaiian shirt on and he's drinking.
Yeah, because he's got Scorpio in his head.
Yeah.
He's fucking with him in his brain. That's so fucking funny. That's so fucking... It's like...
That's why you like Scorpio.
Scorpio is just a piece of shit. And like, he is one of the villains that... It's weird because he kind of becomes like a protagonist later. I don't know how I feel about that arc. But I like that as an antagonist where he's like got a foil. He's just a fucking conniving little shit who just won't leave him alone. He's like, give me the wormhole technology, Crichton. Give me the wormhole.
The Peacekeepers did have a super dreadnought before the tech to make more apparently disappeared.
Yeah, but their ships were like, the ships were powerful, but even the race they were fighting, technologically speaking, I don't think they were on the same scale. Because I will point out that they used Leviathans, which are living ships, as transport vessels.
Chat, I need you to understand something. The Tauri were given the Asgard core, for which they could build Asgard ships.
Yeah, no, the Peacekeepers aren't.
If you didn't know, they pulled the Prometheus from one galaxy to the fucking Horsehead Nebula in another galaxy in like a matter of 10 seconds, without it seemingly going through fucking hyperspace. They just fucking dragged them to that point within 10 seconds in tow. So there's nothing that they could do. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Which is really fucking crazy to me. Because they just never use that ability again.
They never do.
I think they did the flex on the fucking humans.
But either way, I think basically to wrap this up though, back to the Stargate thingy, I think Stargate's cooked, boys.
I have
Yeah.
hope, but only because I want to be Rodney McKay.
You think they're gonna like
It also could be good in spite of themselves.
maybe, but like,
Like,
oh
you
man,
know,
Possibly.
they're just
Starship
gonna
Troopers.
modernize it. That's just my expectation.
Let's see.
Oh, you want
What's
you want to see the
that
comment? I don't know. I think the timing is right. It's probably some dude. As it seems, entertainment is moving past the modern audience pandering fad. I don't know if this guy actually read the article, to be honest
Yeah.
with you. Star Trek Starfleet Academy is a perfect example when a studio wants to appease political garbage. Don't get me wrong, I love Star Trek, but as a whole. But even most loyal Star Trek fans has to cringe at gay Klingons and glitter vomiting aliens. Yeah. I mean, I'm Asian, so I kind of get it when I see another Asian on the screen. Makes me feel all warm and fuzzy inside. That's weird. But it's
Mm,
almost insulting these days how forced. Oh, so this is even a left-leaning person who's kind of annoyed about
yeah.
it. So forced it is. I've lost interest in TV and movies because I'm just exhausted from feeling like everything diverse is fake. I mean, it is fake.
Yeah,
It's
it's all
what
just a checkbox.
Yeah.
like you might feel warm and fuzzy inside when you see another person like, oh, similar to me. But the reality is that I think when we think in terms of racial themings, when I play games, I don't really care if the dude is white or black. As long if the game is good, then that's all that matters. But if it's, oh, the dude is black because we're pandering, then you're starting wrong. If the dude is black
Yeah.
because he happened to be black because that's the character we want and that's the voice actor we hired and we want it to look like him, yeah, okay, fine. But if the dude is like, Asian because, we did it for pandering reasons, then it's done for wrong reasons. It already means that if their headspace is in the wrong for creative sphere, they're not thinking about writing good stories, they're thinking about pandering, then the story's already shit. Because they're dedicating their brain power creatively to focusing on not like doing the pandering. It's like when we played Life is Strange, right? And everyone's a goddamn lesbian. It's like they don't think
I
about
avoided
writing
that.
good characters. Yeah, you didn't miss anything of value.
I know.
You
That's why I
didn't miss
avoided.
anything of value. It's honestly like Life is Strange 1 is an example of like it's kind of like proto woke. Yes, I don't like it, but like it's not a bad story. It's got good elements. Like David is a father who cares about his daughter. David's a good man. David may not and his daughter may fight, but David's actually a good guy. He's going through PTSD. There's a reason why he's got the issues he does. Just like the rich white kid in Life is Strange 1. He's an asshole, but like his dad's a piece of shit and he's being beat up by him. So it's like, okay, so there's reasons why people are the way they are. Versus Life is Strange 2 is like, I'm just gonna kill people because I feel sad, and I'm gonna kill myself because I feel sad. It's like, okay, like we've lost. Like there's nothing here anymore. Like you can be left leaning and make something not terrible. It's possible, but when you start doing these pandering things, like, oh, Sophie is Muslim, and also she's gay, and also she's troubled past. It's like nobody likes Sophie. Even left leaning people don't like Sophie. The whole character's ass. So much so that when you look at Chloe from the Life is Strange 1, you're like, oh my god, I miss Chloe. She was just angsty and annoying. Versus Sophie is just fucking insufferable. Oh my god. When we got her to finally blow her brains out, it was a clapping moment. It was so cool. But yeah.
I hate Chloe because she's too much of a pathetic person to kill herself.
She is.
I made you do it instead.
The only okay, so the Chloe versus Safi thing, right? So Safi is like, the world's ending. We should just run away instead of saving people and burning people. And then in the first game, Life is Strange, the world's ending. Chloe has the opportunity to run away with Max or let Max kill her and set the timeline right. And in Life is Strange 1, Chloe tells Max to kill her because she would rather die than have everybody in the town die because of her. While she's still a bad character, when the push comes to shove, she still pushes for, the right thing in the end, even though she's not a good person. Versus Safi, when push comes to shove, she tries to get Max and Chloe to leave with her and tries to sabotage their attempts at saving people from the fire at every conceivable opportunity, adverse to stopping it. And then when nobody helps, when they stop it, instead of choosing to go with her, she chooses to kill herself instead. And so it's like, okay, so you just killed yourself because you were mad that nobody would listen to you. And now you're throwing a fit and now you're going to end your life. So your mom's going to be miserable about it. So, yep. That's why I don't like him. I don't like Chloe either, by the way. But like, oh my god, it's just there's a reason why left-leaning people tolerated Life is Strange 1 or liked it, because you could see good elements of a person there, even if she's insufferable, right? She still chose to sacrifice herself in the end. But 2, or the new one, is like, everyone else must die around me, and I didn't do anything wrong. And say, okay. Okay. Fuck, it's awful. Yeah. You missed nothing. Don't worry about Life is Strange, chat. Just pretend it's a dead IP. After this game, I think it'll finally die. I think they're out of money. Thank God.
God, I fucking hope so.
I just don't want to ever see another one of their piece of shit games ever again. This is like the 5th one now. And it's tired. It's just a tired thing. It just needs to die. Just... rant over. All right. Next up, let's see. Is there anything related to movies? No. We've got some interesting things here, but what's the fun thing to start with? What's a quick segue? We'll do this. This is a quick segue before we go to the next subject, because this won't be big. It's a little thing.
Membership. It's more important than whatever nonsense Kibbs is
Remember
talking
to give us a
about.
membership. Thank you very much. We are 50% of our way to daily goal. I need to drink Squealy, or Chumpa, go ahead and read
You
this.
need to drink Squealy.
Go ahead
okay,
and, go
well,
ahead
chat.
Yeah.
Take that to
I
mean
gotta
what
get a
you
drink.
want. But Kibbs is gonna go off and drink the Discord kitten, I suppose. Whatever the hell that's supposed to mean. I mean,
He wants to.
I'll leave it
drink
to
with
Chatfish's imagination, I suppose. I guess he's choking on it now.
I need a
me.
drink.
Wouldn't be the first time.
Fuck up.
Hell, maybe he didn't use 2 hands this time like he did last time.
What the fuck? You guys are thinking about this way too much. More specifically,
No, we're just
Chumpa.
recalling what you said about during the last drunk, the second to last.
One of
drunk
the
stream when you-
previous.
Whatever.
Yeah,
Silence horror. He's like, "Eh."
or you're saying how you kept it from tasting the alcohol by putting a straw to the back of your throat and using 2 hands.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm gonna pull English here. Go watch Stargate or something. Just change the subject.
Alright, chat. Ending the stream, watching Stargate.
All right, so this is posted by Ayaka Mods. Just in now, Hobby R34 just had all of his mods completely removed from Nexus mods. This is related to the next article we're going to be talking about. Nexus staff removed every direct Patreon link mentioned as they asked the Nexus excuse me. Then Nexus just nuked the mods, everything because his Twitter links to a card which links to Patreon. So they were basically digging through stuff to find connections. Nothing he did on Nexus, by the way. They are now saying even indirect links through your own Twitter account as a violation of their donation rules. So if you do something else in your life somewhere else that isn't on their website, their rules now extenuate to your entire life. How totalitarian is that? Oh my god. This is actually odd. Nexus doesn't own your personal Twitter or what you put on your own bio links. So yeah, basically some Rule 34 artist guy or modder did something that they didn't like and were basically triggered by that. And so they went after him, basically removing his stuff from Nexus to censor him because he dared to make content they didn't approve of. This is related to the next article, which Trumpaluffagus has done something. So let's see. FTC warns payment companies against debanking. So FTC has written 4 payment companies warning them not to deny service to customers based on political, religious beliefs. The Federal Trade Commission, FTC warning letters, were sent to Visa, MasterCard, PayPal, and Stripe on Thursday, March 26, citing publicly reported instances of customers being blocked from these companies' services due to their views. Full participation in commerce and public life necessarily requires that law-abiding individuals can access and freely participate in our financial system, FTC Chairman Andrew Ferguson said in a new release. It is inconsistent with American values to deny law-abiding individuals the ability to run their legitimate businesses and feed their families because they attracted the ire of rogue American officials, overzealous activists, or, more worryingly, foreign governments seeking to control public discourse. Payments has contacted Visa and MasterCard and Stripe for comment, but has not received a reply. A spokesperson for PayPal declined to comment as well. So essentially, the FTC, or Federal Trade Commission, has basically finally put their foot down on Visa, MasterCard, and PayPal for their totalitarian nuttiness with censoring people from what they're doing. More specifically into hentai or lewd stuff, because lately Visa and MasterCard have been going after H games and stuff like that. And so the federal government has seen this, and it's been ongoing enough that they've caught wind of the conspiracy where there's a bunch of women who are basically doing this thing, which are pushing, they have friends and connections that are pushing these companies to censor and remove PayPal and their subscribe stars and stuff like that. And now the FTC is finally stepping in. So this is actually a good thing. For once, the federal government's coming to the aid of the people this time. So what do you think, Bucky?
It's a start.
Yes, it's a start,
And
but it
it
doesn't
has
put the games
no
back on
impact
Steam yet.
whatsoever. It has no impact whatsoever because EU is going to pull their bullshit.
Oh yes, the
Like they're
EU is
doing-
going to pull their bullshit too. It's going to be a fight
Yeah.
between the FTC and the EU, honestly, because the FTC is going to say Steam and all these companies, you're allowed to have these things on your product, but the EU is going to be then continuing to sue Steam over like it is in Britain and other European locations
Yep.
for every time Steam does something. So the federal government has to come in and stop Europe from attacking United States companies for creating content and creating platforms for people to sell stuff. Because what's essentially
Mhm.
happening here is that Europeans are, well, not European people, but European officials are attacking American businesses by like attacking them, dragging them into court, and terrorizing them. And the federal government of the United States needs to step in and stop them from doing that, because they're doing that to try to enact basically censorship on Steam. Because technically, Steam can put whatever they want on their platform. The FTC basically is like, yeah, no, whatever game doesn't matter. Go ahead, sell it. It's fair. But Europe's European like EU is not okay with that. Like, no, you're not allowed to have whatever game you want. But we're an American company, says Valve. I don't care. If you don't do it, we're going to sue you and drag you through court over and over again.
And then eventually companies stop releasing their things in the EU.
Yes, and eventually American companies will no longer want to produce stuff for Europe because the censorship in Europe has gotten so bad. Because it's affecting American companies pretty negatively. And that's going to be bad for the companies because it means fewer people are going to be able to buy it. It's going to be bad for Europeans because Europeans won't be able to have access to that content.
Mhm. I think what they should do is that Steam should move entirely to US and then have access to VPN stuff, where other countries can just use VPNs to get to their stuff. That way, they're entirely under the
Isn't
US.
Steam entirely under US? I thought they were headquartered in Seattle. I don't remember
It
though.
doesn't matter where they're headquartered if they have an access network nexus to.
He's saying they should pull.
Oh, pull the resources to only the United States.
Yes.
Yes, so like how there's a Steam China version, basically they shouldn't have any support for the other European.
Steam.uk, that should go. It should all just be Steam.us and then VPNing to US IPs to do the business instead.
Yeah, because like honestly, all these Europeans have been doing, or well, European governments have been doing, is just dragging Steam into court over and over again for Steam to fight these legal battles. Steam keeps winning,
Which Steam keeps winning,
but
and they end up getting money out of
it's
it.
attrition.
Give Gabe another 10 yachts.
Yeah, more
Like,
diamond teeth, my lord.
on the plus side for Valve and Gabe, and when they win these lawsuits, they end up getting a lot of money out of them.
True, but at the same time, it's still gonna boil fatigue, right? Because I don't like talking about this, but Gabe is old. Eventually, he's gonna, pass on to the next life and become a god emperor, of the next universe. So when that happens, the guy in charge, is they gonna have the balls that Gabe had? Are they gonna put their foot down and say no, or are they gonna fold? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because if they keep suing Steam all the time, it's eventually gonna be somebody in Steam's gonna crack. I don't know. I feel like it. But again, Steam has also won every case it's fought. And has also walked away with the lion's share of money from these things, too. Because they basically get money out of it, too.
I think Gabe needs to start figuring out his heir apparent.
Successor. Need to find somebody with the right philosophy. Because, like, his actual son, I don't think so.
Yeah, you don't want to be like the Tolkien estate.
Yeah, because I mean, to be fair, Tolkien's son did honor him, or is it his grandson? I don't remember. But either way, it was his son did honor him. But after his
Mhm.
son passed, the people that came after certainly aren't. They're letting everybody
Yes.
have a go with the license, and so they're the leeches. They don't actually respect the work like his first son did. So sad.
I'm
But
so happy posting stuff.
you're still posting stuff?
Yes. I told you. I warned you, Kibbs.
I warned you.
Yeah.
He's a little squirrel. Grab him by his tail and whip him around. He's like, screaming. All right, that's okay. Well, we got to the FTC article, but yeah. So this is pretty big news. This is it's interesting because now that they've made an announcement about it, granted, it was just kind of bark, but I think this is the bark before the bite. I hope. Because now they need to bite into Visa and MasterCard. Because Visa and MasterCard are terrorizing people, and people's lives are being ruined by censorship. It is time for the federal government, in this case the Federal Trade Commission, to intercede and stop these corporations from stepping on people. Because they are actually stepping on people now. And this is the job of the federal government to actually prevent this kind of stuff. This is the time for the feds to actually do something useful for a change. So now do the stuff I paid you for, those tax monies you took from me. Do your job. Protect me. But either way, that's that one done. Then we have an interesting little game Bucky shared with me. Looks kind of cute. It's called
I showed this game to you before on one of the Next Fests.
Ish. Now, you might have showed it to me, but Bucky showed it to me again, which
You
means
played it even.
he's recent, so now he's fresher than you are. I'm making Total
Get
War,
fucked.
except it's like roguelike on Tavern. So, by the way, real quickly, you'll notice that people will be like, these are game dev trends, where game devs will notice a trend and they'll be like, this is my game, or like, this is my favorite thing about games, or this is the game that was the biggest inspiration to the game I'm making. Here, look. And they'll do this to get attention for the game. So this is a game that's being developed, and he's very inspired by Total War. He's making a fantasy tabletop game where you can basically play like Total War battles on a roguelike system. And yeah, it's honestly looks quite cute. Anything that adds more competition to the market for Total War is honestly a good thing, because they need challenges. Not that I think this will like particularly be a threat, but it's good to see people actually not afraid to make big army battle games.
The concept of this game is neat, and when I did try it, mechanically it was neat, but it didn't feel like there was any real weight behind things when the demo.
It's very
was out,
hard
so
to do
hopefully
these
it's
kinds
fixed.
of games, by the way. That's why Creative Assembly has a market. These games are a pain in the ass to make because of the flocking mechanic. The flocking mechanic is a nightmare to work with. That's why games usually struggle with these style things, because it's supposed to be simulating hundreds of dudes at the same time, behaving in a realistic fashion. Richard Phillips has been a member for... Oh, wait, no. Richard Phillips donates £5 and says, sounds of very successful people being not rubbish is rare. They are usually spoiled brats who resent their father. Gabe gone equal big trouble. That's the thing I'm always scared about. It's, like, people, I think, worry about living in their father's shadow or something like that. I know some rich kids, all right, that felt that way. And I understand why you feel that way. But the issue is you're not living in your father's shadow. The thing is, you're inheriting a legacy. You are getting something that very few people get the privilege of having. Your father built you an empire, and this empire is wonderful. Now you are the steward of it. You must manage it and basically build on top of that legacy. You are going to continue to heighten that thing. You can basically make that your, legacy too. But the issue is they don't feel it that way. And it's often viewed as like, oh, I'm living in my father's shadow. Like, I got everything handed to me, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, okay, like, well, what's your solution? I'm going to tear it down. Okay, all right. Fuck you. Like, god damn it. That's not the way we should be doing these things. But we don't know in this particular case. We don't know how the inheritance will go for Steam or Valve. We don't know who's going to take over when Gabe's gone. It's just the reason why we should start talking about it more is because there should be concern. Steam is great, but it's great because the people who currently are in charge at Steam have made sure that Valve is great. They have pride, right? For example, Blizzard Entertainment did not release the Warcraft point and click game. People were sad about that. Did not release StarCraft Ghost. People were sad about that. Why? Because they said it wasn't to their standards. They thought that the players deserved better and that they could do better for you. And they wouldn't want to release anything that was subpar. Now, that company Blizzard doesn't have that view anymore. They release subpar shit all the time. And it doesn't matter. Diablo 4, subpar. Diablo 3, subpar. Every World of Warcraft expansion lately, subpar. It's reality. It might be painful to hear for some, but it's the reality, right? It's just not good. They haven't produced anything to be proud of. And that's the issue. They lost focus. They lost that vision. But yeah. Next. Yeah. Neuralink patient raiding in World of Warcraft. Well, this is a bit of a happy story. After only 100 days of having the implant installed, calls it pure magic, exploring Azra's hands-free at full speed. That's amazing. This person, I assume, is paralyzed, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the benefit of Neuralink technology is that it's going to open the gateway for people who are paralyzed and can't play video games or interact with these kinds of media at all. Now they can interact in a digital space and actually do stuff as if they could move, even though they can't. This is a wonderful piece of technology. And honestly, it's amazing.
In the future, when Neuralink becomes better, because as it is, like, there's still it's clinical trials and whatnot, but eventually, maybe even kids can play games.
No, let's not hold our breath.
Damn.
But yeah, so yeah, with his mind, he's able to play games, and that's pretty cool.
So basically, the original things when they were testing is like they would have someone be able to move a mouse cursor on the screen, and now it's up to the point where a guy's actually able to just play WoW.
Yeah, can press buttons with a thought. That's pretty cool. That also means that he can play video games now. I mean, if he's able to participate in raids, that means he's able to do like a lot of functions and abilities and all that without actually needing to press buttons. And this is good because this means that they can now actually play games. Paralyzed people can actually do something rather than just lay around and be sad.
Well, no, Chet, this isn't virtual reality he's plugging into.
No.
It's
a computer screen.
Connected to a computer, and he's able to interact with the computer with his thoughts.
Yeah.
Basically move cursor, click buttons.
I saw some footage of this with one guy playing Dawn of War 3. Poor bastard. But either way, he's playing Dawn of War 3. They have a laptop open, and he's just laying there, smiling, because he's literally thinking about everything he wants the game to do and like doing the abilities and stuff. Because he's just playing the game with his mind. He doesn't have to actually press the buttons. Basically, as you play video games right now, imagine playing Factorio or whatever you're playing, Battle for Middle Earth, some of you were playing earlier, or Starship Troopers. He's just playing the game, but actually able to play it, even though he's paralyzed. It's just the screen's there. It's not virtual.
Eventually,
like
we'll reach a point where people will complain that we need to not allow Neuralink users in lobbies because they have an unfair advantage.
That will happen at some point, yes. But that's one of those things that, okay, that'll be talked about there, that we can have a debate about analog. It's like the controller versus mouse and keyboard is what that's going to be a regurgitation of. Probably.
The big argument with that stuff is mouse and keyboard versus aim assist.
Yeah, right now that's aim assist. But in this particular case, like, this is your mind. This isn't like a computer doing it for you. You're still doing it. But I don't particularly care about it. I just think it's really, like, into that sense, because I'm not thinking about competitive. I just think it's a really good piece of technology because it means paralyzed people can now play games. That's actually really cool. So a long time ago, I had a friend who was playing EVE Online a lot. And there's this guy in their corporation who played with tubes. Like a series of tubes that he'd blow in because he's paralyzed to do different interactions. That's how he played the game. This piece of technology would be really good for him because now he can actually just, doesn't have to blow on tubes or nothing. He can just think and the game will be played. But damn, the man managed to play like that game with just tubes. So, that's impressive.
I mean, people have done really impressive and bizarre things like playing through all of Dark Souls without getting hit and using a DDR thing.
But yeah, this piece of technology will be great for people with conditions where they can't move their arms and stuff like that, because now they can actually play games, and this will be a net good for them, because they'll actually be able to do stuff, something for them to do, rather than being paralyzed, and they can interact with people. The importance of this, I know this is probably gonna sound mushy and gay or whatever, but like, the thing is, the importance for this is that handicapped people often struggle with forming new friends and stuff like that. And I met a few. And the benefits of this sort of thing is that they can socialize. Like the benefits of World of Warcraft was that a lot of handicapped people were able to meet people that they never were able to in real life because of their conditions. They could actually play and interact with them. And so this particular thing opens up a new gateway for those people to now actually interact and socialize with people that in normal circumstances in like the 1950s, 60s, and 80s, 90s would have a hard time finding stuff to do together, because back then there wasn't as much opportunities as there is now. It's not that people didn't want to hang out with them, it's that, well, I want to go bowling or I want to go play baseball. So the guy in the wheelchair is like, okay. I'm just gonna be here. Now they can actually do something, so it's nice. Just like, wow, that's amazing. Travis are just too concerned about like ads. Eventually, yeah, the corporations will try to find a way to make this technology fucking profitable in some sick way like that. Yes, without a doubt in my mind. Ugh, corrupting it. But yeah, that will happen at some point. But for now, it's a good, because it's just going to open the door for people to actually play stuff now. So, next. Owlcat Games is using generative AI to iterate faster on The Expanse, says game developer article. Oh, God. His hair. I don't know about that. All right, let's see. The studio is using the tech prototype and placeholders, but claims temporary assets will be replaced for the final version. Again, I'm personally against the use of AI in game development. It's a crutch. It's not a good idea to use, but as long as you replace it and the product's good in the end, that's what matters to me most. Personally, I banned it in my studio because AI is just banned. We're not using it for the creative side at all. No art can be done that way. Owlcat Games, the studio behind the multiple platformer, Pathfinder and Warhammer 40,000 titles, has confirmed it is using generative AI or Gen AI to help build its upcoming RPG, The Expanse of Cyrus. In what way? During the press, Owlcat PR manager Katharina Pop told Eurogamer the team is using tech for a lot of prototyping, trying things out, placeholders. They also stressed that those placeholders will all be replaced before the title ships. You better make sure they're replaced. Using AI for placeholders is pointless, says Bavios. Yeah, it is. I wasn't going to say that just yet from our own game experiences, but I was going to mention that, like, honestly, using AI in development is there's like, how do I say this in a polite way?
It's lazy.
Yeah, it's lazy. There's really no excuse to actually do it when it comes to game making. You shouldn't actually be using AI. If you are, there's actually concerns as to why. And usually games that do, well, we see how that works out in
The
reality.
only thing I could understand really would be doing something like how Robin will use it for, like, he's like, I'm not sure how this works. Let me quickly ask AI, see how it does, so I can learn how that works and then create it myself.
Yeah, because that's how Robin did our overlay stuff. Because Robin had no experience with overlays, and so he actually did AI to ask AI to make an overlay for stream, and then he saw how it worked, and then he recreated it, and then made it his own. Because, well, it didn't actually work the way we needed it to. But, like, if it's like
He
that,
used it to get an idea for how a UI system would work.
yeah, because
and
like
then
I
he
could
built his
see
own.
that work, but when they're referring to generative AI, like,
So my biggest concern there is, okay, so what are they using for to iterate? Because to basically to create systems, like iterate things and like make progress, like test stuff, is what they're basically doing here. Like they'll create a thing with it to see how it feels, and then if it works, they'll build on top. They'll build their own or build on top of it. That's the idea that this article is going into about. But here's the thing: it's Owlcat Games. We know that this is going to be it's Owlcat. There's going to be a lot of dialogue.
Hmm.
I get the distinct feeling they're using AI to write dialogue.
Oh, God, help me. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's
Which
just
means their
me.
claim of it's placeholder and we're going to remove it, even if that's their actual intention, there's going to be AI in the game.
Yeah, if
Because
that's true.
they're going to miss something.
AI is good when you need information from Reddit without having to access the cesspool of a website. Essentially, yes.
Yeah.
That's funny, Blake. All right, but yeah.
AI is useful when it actually gives you actual sources of where it's pulling its nonsense. And
Yeah.
it's not just hallucinating.
Jimmy Stiffing has been a member for 43 months and says Deep Rock Galactic's Rogue Core is going to launch in early access soonish. I'm very excited. Well, I'm glad you're very excited, little Jimby. I'll have to take a look at it when it comes out. The company has been coy about using Gen AI, a technology that has garnered a largely negative reception from developers in recent years because it's a crutch. Like it is.
Actually, it's not developers that's getting a large negative reception. It's the consumers. It's the people who play the games that are
Well, no, developers
really
are
against the
also
idea.
upset too. There's been a pretty big backlash. Remember, the industry's very sketchy on the
Well,
whole thing.
not AAA developers.
Well, developers, AAA executives don't mind because it's replacing developers altogether with a machine, which means it cuts down costs, which means they can pocket more. Because remember, the executives want to increase the price of games to $100. Probably $120 is what they'd probably be shooting for the next couple of years, is what they're going to try to push to. If I had to guess, because they're not going to stop. They're just going to keep increasing that and see how far they can get away with it. But 120 is probably what they're going to push towards next. 110. And so that's what they're already doing anyways with the new thing, because they're trying to push towards 100 as a standard and then 100 to 120 for deluxe. And the reason for that is because, again, that's more money they can pocket. And the development isn't going to be getting that back, nor do the developers actually receive a fraction of that shit half the time. The big thing they're going to actually be pushing for is trying to get rid of as many developers as possible while increasing the cost of game so they can pocket even more of the money. Less developers, maybe replace the entire art team with AI guys, with one guy running the AI thing, and then replace like half the programmer team with AIs, and then pocket that, charge $120, maybe 160 if we can push it, just keep pushing it higher and higher and see what you can get away with. That's basically what they're going for. Maybe $200 will be the new premium, in a decade's time.
It's just gonna keep going up.
It's never gonna
Like
stop.
there isn't
It's
a
gonna...
this is where it's gonna cut off. No, it's just gonna keep
60
going.
was just the beginning. 60 was not the end point. Just like 70. Remember when people told us like, "Oh, you're complaining too much. 70 is just a little bit more. It's only $10." Now it's 80, and now they're already talking about 90, and there's even whispers of 100. It's like 120 is the next goal after that. And after that, it's 140. You think they're going to stop there? They're going to keep squeezing you depending on how stupid you are because they know they can get away with it. Because they keep getting away with it. Because nobody's outraged. Barely anybody. Like, oh, it's just $70 for the AAA game. Oh, well, now it's $80. Oh, it's just $80. It's just $10 more on top of the last $10 more. It's 90 now. Oh, it's just another 10 on top of 10. It's 100. Oh, it's just $10 more. Because they can say it's just $10 more again and again and again, while slowly increasing the price gradually because people are that stupid. Oh my god. The reality is that games should be $40 and they never needed a reason to be 60 because 60 was back in an era in which they still had to manufacture, print discs, ship them, distribute them. They had to get a cut to the store owners because they had to go into storage and they took up space on shelves. And they were saying back then that the only reason it was 60 because of storage. But don't worry, there's no reason it was ever needed to be at 60 because once it's digital, it'll be cheaper. But that rhetoric changed immediately. And yet, it's curious, their development costs keep inflating, but the game qualities are getting worse and worse in the AAA sector. Why are AAA games getting worse? And the game quality is getting worse? Well, it's entirely due to the fact that they're mismanaging their money and finances, and they're also just pocketing a chunk. Because if you look at those executives, they make like a fucking hefty chunk, like $250,000 or $1 million or whatever, right? And what are they doing with that money? Are they investing it back in the company they're working at? They're divesting. They're going to be slopping that all over the place, but none back in the company they work at. That's why you get things like Ubisoft and things that are caving in. It's just one of those things where, again, it's just not going to work. We talked about this before. AI technology has a place in the world, but does it have a place in the creative sector? No, it never did. Does it have a place in the personal use sector for or like specifically medical sciences and stuff? Yes. Does it have a place for personal use? Yeah, sure. If people want to mess around with it, whatever. Should creative developers be using AI? No. Genuinely, we shouldn't be using it to create stuff. The only thing it should like have a use for is like search algorithms for research because it can expedite research progress. But like if you're coming up with ideas and concepts with it, like AI, what would be a good idea for my video game because I'm so creatively bankrupt and I can't think of nothing. What about a hero with a sword and it's magic and it's stuck in a rock and you got to pull it out? Oh, that's genius. That nobody thought of that before. Also, it's technically not legal, if I remember right, to copyright AI stuff because AI stuff, you can't copyright it. It's takes artwork from other people and uses it. You can make music videos, you can make music with it, you can make art with it, right? But it's all based on a database that's pulling artwork and stuff unconsensually from other artists without crediting them or giving them a royalty. That's why the US basically deemed it as like, okay, you can't monetize this, which is a good compromise. It gets out of that problem, right? It's like, okay, how do we handle this issue where we have an AI that's, well, it's not an AI. AI doesn't exist. A language learning model that's taking artwork and from other people and profiting from it. Well, they can't do that. All right, fixed. You can't monetize AI stuff. Problem solved. However, there's one teensy tiny bitty problem that they haven't patched up yet. Who's still making money off the AI stuff that's pilfering other people's work? The companies that own the AI. And so the issue is that should they be able to monetize the AI stuff that they're using that's doing the thing they're doing? No. It should be a software that's just free, and then maybe they can get their money from something else, but they shouldn't be profiting directly from it. The ads on their website should be how they generate their profit or something like that. But directly profiteering from that particular thing is morally questionable, and I'm curious to see how that holds up legally because legally speaking, I doubt it will. And considering that every corporation's now jumping ship on the AI bubble, it looks like the AI house of cards is coming down. By the way, be ready for that. That's gonna be icky. What do you think, Bucky? You also have been following this, squirrel boy.
I think that AI slop is going to keep being AI slop, and it's going to feed into
You
itself.
can't call it that, Artemis.
That's hurtful. Microsoft
Microsoft
doesn't like
CEO
it.
said you gotta stop calling it that.
Microsoft doesn't like it when you call it slop.
So microslop,
Oh, they hate that more, by the way.
yeah. So in any case, the answer is that just like the better graphics shit, what happened? They kept trying to feed into better graphics, and then now they've given up. Now they're just putting a filter on everything.
Yeah, the DLSS
Because-
5 debacle. Oh my god.
Yeah. So to me, it's the ridiculous. We don't want to write good games. Let's just try to make the fucking assets look as beautiful as possible, and that could substitute any type of originality we were going for. And that's what they were doing, because they were doing the technical aspect rather than actually like the creativity part of it. And this is just the same way.
Yeah. Yeah. It's very much that. The big thing I think here is that I think AI will have a place, but I think much like the .com bubble, I think we're about to see that bubble burst. Probably, I don't know. I honestly don't know because I'm not an economist. I don't know. But if I had to wager,
Companies are starting to pull out of it.
if companies are already starting to pull out, that's gonna be, happening relatively soon because this is normally the telltale sign. Maybe a year, maybe
All it
2027.
needs is basically the speculation to become that AI's.
Yep, because then the investors
Not the
pull out,
future,
and
and
then the
then-
money completely dries up.
That's all it needs, because right now it's just massive amounts of money being invested in, and we're now seeing more and more things come out where like
Nothing's
people are
coming out of it.
stating that investing into it is a massive net loss, and so we're going to see in the coming months, or maybe even, well, hopefully not a few years, hopefully it crashes sooner than later.
Sooner, because the longer it takes, the worse it
Then
gets.
yes, but we're gonna see more people slowly pull out because they're realizing slowly, because the executives are usually detached from reality, that there's no money to be made. It's a money pit.
Yes, because
Mhm.
they're dumping money into something that's not returning things.
It's fuzzy when you need them.
Yeah, I know. This is a fuzzy. Fuzzy. We do that thing where we summon them, you know? Shoobity bop.
That's why a lot of the AI companies were trying so desperately to get into government AI defense contracts, because that's just infinite money.
Yes. The thing is, by the way, AI does have uses, chat. It's not that it's just useless as a
It's
technology.
actually the ones designed for medical stuff is actually extremely useful.
So the big thing about AI that we're learning, because we learned a lot from Fuzzy, because Fuzzy's an analyst and he knows a lot of this shit, is that AI, when it comes to it specifically being designed for something, it's really good at, because it's specifically learning about one thing. The problem is the reason why ChatGPT and these things are not very good is because they're trying to be the jack of all trades, but they get poisoned themselves. They get too much stuff. And so an AI made explicitly, or well, a language learning model, we got to stop using that buzzword. An LLM specifically made to do something like as hyper specific as medical stuff will be very efficient at it because it's doing its job. It's meant to do one thing and it's doing it well, right? When you make an
Part of the
LLM
reason.
try to do like everything, it does everything poorly. Like that's the problem with the LSS5, right? Because it slaps itself over every game. But every game doesn't try to be photorealistic. There are games that try to be photorealistic. This is true. But most video games, an overwhelming majority of video games are stylistic. Halo 3 is stylistic. Every Halo game is stylistic. They don't try to do photorealism. Even the new Halo Infinite, the one I don't like, is stylistic. And they do this intentionally. Art styles are used because we kind of hit a plateau when it comes to graphics to not chase after realism. There are some games that try to do this, like Starfield tries, but it doesn't work out. So Starfield might be able to use DLSS5 and it might not look like the worst thing ever, but it's still going to look bad because the problem is when you, how this stuff works is when you enter a room, it generates what it thinks things are, right? But every time you enter that room, you're going to enter it slightly differently, which means the variables and how you enter a room might change. For example, the dust map from Counter-Strike, we saw the footage of that where they were walking around and there was water everywhere. But when you look at the actual map, there's no water. But what if I enter that map from a different location? Will that water be there? But the water wasn't in the
Nope.
map. And why is there water in the map? That's changing what the game world actually is. What I'm seeing on the screen isn't representative of the game world itself, which means I'm getting false information. It's like generative AI with when it comes to frame generation. If you're playing a video game, let's say, well, let's use some example. Let's say Grumpy Rat's playing a video game, right? He's playing some Halo 2, right? He's just gaming on his little grumpy chair. And Sir Ian joins him in his gaming, and they're both using DLSS5. And one of them's like, oh, Grumpy's like, wow, really, look at the lightning effects. That's really cool. And Sir Ian's using an AMD graphics card with its version of DLSS5, and it's like, what? What are you talking about? It's not raining. It's snowing. And it's like, what? Snow? The the effects aren't there because they're not real. They're not
But
happening
Kibbs,
in the
that's a
game
selling
world.
point. Every time you play the game, it'll be
It's
like you're playing a
slightly
new game.
different. Yeah, maybe. I was using an example, Grumpy Rat. I was saying you and Sir Ian were playing a video game together, and you were both using DLSS5. But both of you entered a room differently. And because you entered the room differently, because of how DLSS5 works, the room was generated differently. And so the world you were seeing wasn't the same world that Ian was seeing. You're both seeing two different worlds and playing the same game together. And both worlds you're seeing isn't actually indicative of what the game world actually is doing. This is why DLSS5 is just a dead end thing. DLSS5 isn't going to work. It's not actually doing anything. And it also, like, I saw the other footage they tried to show, like, of Grand Theft Auto 4 or whatever, and, like, it just changed the environment. Like, the environments were different, the signages were different, like, the world was different, the characters were different, and nothing was actually indicative of what was happening in the world. It was wrong. And so the experiences were wrong. And so because they're wrong, now you're going to have bad experiences with each other because the game you're playing is a different game. You'll be, oh, I can't believe I got shot. Well, yeah, because the AI didn't see that character from your perspective. So that character wasn't there. It was a rock in your game. These technologies are dead ends. They won't work. They don't work. They're already failing. And because they've failed already, NVIDIA is doubling down. They're doubling down on something that just doesn't work. It can't work because it isn't able to. Because how this system works is it has to be done a certain way in order to create a certain experience. Because if you enter a room slightly differently, it's going to change things. Just like the water problem with dust. There's no water on dust. But why is the map covered in water? Because the fucking thing read the shadow as water. And so now it's generating reflections, which is changing the gameplay experience entirely. This is bad on a fundamental level. And it shows because NVIDIA is doubling down on it. Not only doubling down on it, it's just literally going to, all it's going to do is make graphics cards more expensive for all of us. We're all going to suffer, and nothing good is going to come out of this technology for this particular case. It's because they're trying to milk the LLM. It's just like with the .com bubble. Everybody wants to get in on this market. Everybody wants a piece of this pie, just like the .com bubble. But what happened with the .com bubble? Everybody got in, but only a few people actually got anything of value out of it. And after it imploded, what happened? The places it worked, it stuck. The places it didn't, it failed. DLSS 5 is basically just this thing failing in action. And so, like I said, I think language learning models, like what Fuzzy said, have a place, but it's not in the creative sector, and it never should have been here.
So to touch on a few things here that chat's been saying before it gets too
Go
buried in,
ahead.
to go over what we missed. So Hennestead's been a member for 23 months. Says, wow, it's been 2 years this month since I joined the first MP event playing the OG Battlefront 2 and started to be active in the chat.
Good.
Then Polly donates $5. Says, AI, how can I avoid paying these developers for their work? Indicating we're talking about AI developer executives trying to use it to take away jobs. And he's also referencing a real thing that happened in the case of Subnautica 2.
It's happening now. Like, people are losing their jobs.
Well, no, that actually is a court case that came up. The guy was asking ChatGPT how to not pay how to get the work without having to pay his developers.
What the fuck? That's fucked up, but all right.
He lost that case. The guy who was basically not paying them lost the case. Shocking, but yeah. The other thing I want to talk on, which comes back to what you were just talking about, is a quote that Bafios is saying, which I remember seeing this one as well. I want AI to do my laundry and dishes so that I can do art and writing, not for AI to do my art and writing so that I can do my laundry and dishes.
Exactly. Nailed it on the head. AI is useful for mandatory, or what do you call it? Not mandatory. Manual or things that basically take up time and distract you from your craft. AI is not a crutch. And in the creative sector, anyone who uses AI is weak. You are. That's the reality. You're weak and you're inferior. And the reason why we have to address this is because too many creators are getting lazier and lazier and lazier. Games are getting worse and worse because we're getting lazier. The games that are always great or come out good are always those that are hardest worked on by people who are passionate and caring about the thing they're trying to do, that do research, that do the legwork, and actually put in the time. And it shows. Games that are getting the bad games are always the games that use crutches. It doesn't even have to be AI in this case. A crutch is when you use something because it's, I don't want to do it. When you have that mentality, the issue is by being lazy and being unable to do the bare minimum when putting in work into the creative sphere, you are already fucking up. The minute you use AI is the minute you use a crutch. And once you get comfy using a crutch, you never stop using that crutch. You double down on it. You start to blame everyone else for your problems rather than actually addressing the fact that you've got problems. And we see this with AI in games all the time. Often, every game that uses AI has problems. What are the biggest problems of games that use AI? They feel lazy. Why do they feel lazy? Because they didn't put in the time. And that's the issue. They're not treating it that way. Even the developers think that way. It already came out that Crimson Desert is the biggest offender in this regard. Crimson Desert has already sold itself as a loss, despite the fact that it sold well financially, which is curious,
It's made
honestly.
like something like 5 million copies now.
But if you read the
sold.
developer's statements, the developer himself is like, yeah, it sucks. I'm going to move on past this and move on to the next project, already abandoning it. They're already moving away from it. But why? It's sold well. Because again, they used the crutch. And now that the crutch has been used, putting in more effort into this game and polishing it up is a lot of work. We're not doing that. We're moving on. And so the game will be left to rot. And that's the issue. Crutches aren't acceptable. Leaving games in broken and unfinished states isn't good. Now, to give credit where credit is due, the Crimson developers did try to lie to people and get away with using AI and then pretending that they didn't, which again, it's important because honesty matters and truth and transparency matters. Lying developers should not be tolerated, yet I find it curious that people find it, well, they did make this game. I think it's okay for them to lie. Lying, like any crutch, is not okay. You cannot allow them to get away with it because if they get away with lying, they're going to do it again. They're just going to get away with it again. Because they lied about AI, that means they're willing to lie to you. It means they're happy and content with lying with you. It's not okay to lie to the consumer. You need to tell the
Can't
truth.
keep getting away with this.
You need to.
Now,
you
I will
can't
point out
get
that they
away with
actually
it.
did address the criticisms about controls and are patching the game to
That's good.
have not retarded
Good.
controls.
Good. Yes.
Which is funny because it flies in the face of all the people who are glazing the game, like, oh, the controls are perfectly fine. You just got to put 20 hours in, and then developers come out with a statement.
This is an
opposite.
issue that we do need to discuss, and this is called the. I don't even have a name for this. Actually, I don't even know.
Glazoning.
Yeah, I think we just call it the glazoning. So what is the glazoning? Oh, it's a term we coined for like the effect of it. The glazoning effect basically refers to an instance in which a game has a problem, but because people have an issue with that game, you take it, or well, no. Bad verbiage. Let's not use that. You don't take it, but I take it as a personal attack. I'll use myself as example. I'm now attacked by Grumpy, who doesn't like my game. Oh, Grumpy, I can't believe you're onto me all day. Jesus, calm down, little guy. But yeah, so Grumpy and Sir Ian are now on my case. They're both like, I don't like this. I don't like you having this thingamajig. Oh, God. Oh, hold on. Oh, no, I just spilled something. All right, Chumpa, you need to continue to explain the glazing real quick. I gotta wipe this off the floor. I spilled my soda.
So basically, what we saw with Crimson Desert and why people are so shilling it, even despite its air issues. And there's aspects of the game that I'm sure are perfectly fine. It's not a game for me, but I know people that like, because it's billed as, or at least it was sold as, and I see people praising it as it's a single player MMO. I don't know how true that is. I know some people love that. It's not for me. But the big thing is, people immediately tied this to, look, this game has sexy characters. It's going against the modern trend of this, so we're going to praise and hype up the game. And then people start pointing out issues with the game, and some of the people on, the woke side disliked the game and started trying to shit on it. So that quickly turned into any negative criticism of the game is just you defending woke.
Yes. So the big issue with the glazoning is it's an effect that's happening right now. And basically it's the politicization of games on the right and the left. So a game, any criticism about this game is now political, meaning that it's becoming what we call poisoned. And poisoning is basically when you can't talk about a subject without it being dragged into politics, right? And so the problem with Crimson Desert is it's not the worst game ever made. I don't like Crimson Desert, but I don't think it's the worst game ever made. My biggest grievances is I didn't like the controls, I don't like the story, I think it's very hollow, and I just don't like how shallow the gameplay feels. But it isn't a game... I know. But it isn't a game that I think is, oh, it's terrible, you can't buy it. And I also think it being $70 is too much. I think it should be like cheaper. I think $70 is ridiculous. But if you like the game, great, good for you. But the issue is that because I have that opinion, and it's a negative opinion, I'm now going to be in the poisoned argument, because now it's going to be about, well, you didn't like Crimson Desert, and Crimson Desert is anti-woke, and now you're woke. It's like, what? I had issues with the controls and other parts of the game's design, and I didn't really care for the story. I don't think that the game is political in the slightest, but because it's now been part of a charged argument, because again, grifters will try to do this to try to pull things into some sort of like cultural conflict when a game has nothing to do with it, because it's all about turning it into a fighting point, because we got to fight, and we got to fight, and you got to grift, and that's like the entire issue. That's called the glazing effect. And that's why it's like, okay, if I'm using this game, I'm going to use this game to fight for my political beliefs, but the game doesn't have political beliefs. I don't care. It's part of my political beliefs. And now that the game is part of my political beliefs, anybody who attacks it is an enemy of the people, and must be targeted as such. And it's like, oh, okay. Okay. And so anytime there's discourse about like, hey, I didn't like this game, but it's not the worst game ever, but if it had better controls and maybe a more interesting story, I'd be interested in more meaningful gameplay choices. I'd be more interested. Okay, this is positive criticism, because this criticism is basically advocating for the game having a better control scheme, the game having a better fleshed out story, the game having more complex and deeper gameplay systems, which is good. These are all three good things. There's literally nothing wrong with these things. But these three positive points of criticism are now completely dismissed because it's not a part of a war. And so it's basically just more tribalism. Yeah, pretty much. It's basically tribalism on a development cycle. And so instead of having a discourse about a game that's constructive and talking about how to make the game better, or how to make better games in the future, and learning as an industry and producing better quality products for the consumer, it's now about fighting for some stupid ideology that nobody gives a damn about. It's like, oh my God, kill me. Oh my God. And it happens on the left a lot more than it does on the right, but it also happens on the right as well. And it's this problem that permeates things, where it's, I gotta claim it for my team. I'm gonna claim this as mine. And I know people like this, by the way. We're like, I can claim this. This is our game. This is our game, chat. I'm like, okay, Kib, whatever you say, guy. This game is about
Tomb Raider's a feminist icon.
Wait, what? Tomb Raider's a feminist? Oh my God. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
It's the same shit from 2010, or was it, that's more like 2012 and 13, I guess, around that period. But yeah, it's like that rhetoric. And it's basically just like, oh my God, it's devolved into tribalism. And so it's one of those things where, like, instead of having a discourse about getting better games and making games better for you, it's now about fighting some stupid thing for somebody else. And you have to glaze the game, because if you don't glaze it, you're like, insert blank here. You're an ism. You're on somebody's team. It's like, oh my God, help me, chat. We're back to 2013 feminism. It's roll over again. And I missed out on that. I only read about that retrospectively. Thank God. But Jesus Christ, chat. So that's one of the issues. So it is good. For example, this is why it's so important when a studio does a good thing that it still be praised regardless, even if I like the game, right? So Crimson Desert coming out and saying that, yeah, they had generative AI and that was bad and they're going to replace that. Good. That's good. That's not a bad thing. That's a good thing. Because I see people attacking the studio now for that. Like, you're bending the knee. It's like, oh, you're improving your game. That's bending the knee. This hurts nobody. This hurts nobody. If anything, this gives some poor artist some actual money. Yay. Yay. And so it's like, okay. And it's like being honest with your customers, like stating whether you use the game had AI in it. Like, yeah, you should be honest. Honesty is important.
Thank you, Blake.
What'd Blake do? Give David a comment.
Send me the exact image I was referencing.
Oh, okay. Good. Good play.
It's in the stream room.
I shall pull it up in a second. But yeah, so that's basically that. I don't know. Does Chatfish have any thoughts on it? I'm annoyed because the glazing is such an annoying thing. Where it's like, it's just so annoying. It's like, we can't talk about making games better, and you can't point out that this game has something that's not okay in it. Because if you do, you're a fascist or a communist or a whatever. Insert an ism. You're something. We can't actually talk about improving games for the better. It's just annoying. It's agitating. Because all I want is games to be better. And it's a simple desire. Better, more fun, more interesting systems. And Crimson Desert just wasn't that for me. And so that was my criticisms. I didn't like the controls. I thought the controls were bad. And I also just didn't care for the story. I also think the combat's just too easy. It's kind of boring. But maybe it gets more interesting. But the issue is that video games have a 15-minute hook period. This is referred to in the industry. You have 15 minutes to hook the player. You got to hook them and make the game interesting, right? And in Steam's case, you could actually argue that it's got a 2-hour hook period. That's a lot of time to hook a player. 2 hours. I don't want to hear, oh, the game gets good after 100 hours. All right, I did that with Final Fantasy XIV Online. Does the game get better in 100 hours? Not really. But does the story get good? Yes. The gameplay is so-so. It's like every MMO. MMOs don't really have great gameplay. But they have interesting environments and interesting themes. And Final Fantasy XIV Online had a really interesting and compelling and actually really good story. It actually blew me away with how fun it was. I really liked it. In fact, it's up there next to Star Wars: The Old Republic, like in terms of the best stories. And I know I have fond memories of World of Warcraft, but like World of Warcraft, like narratively doesn't hold a candle. Like it just isn't as strong, mostly because the World of Warcraft story is kind of poop. But yeah, so like that's an example of that, right? And so, like, for example, the only thing I have complaints with, like, Final Fantasy XIV Online is I just wish they would improve the gameplay and get away from just the standard sort of MMO sort of, like, you know, button rotation gameplay and actually have, like, real responsive gameplay and stuff like that. It's my only, like, thing there. And that's the same criticism I have for WoW and SWTOR. But I don't think they're, like, terrible because they have one bad thing. They might have things I don't like in them, but there are other things in them, too. Let's see what Chatfish say. The glazing only exists because people tired of woke is so desperate for a game that don't push anything, they will galaz it no matter what. The grifting content creatures just make it worse. Yeah, and in a way, I understand, and I totally get where they're coming from, actually. Like, yeah, like, I, too, am tired of TV shows being kind of bad. Like, man, those new Star Trek TV shows, those suck. They're not good. And I'm fed up with that. And I'm desperate for good content. But I think if we blindly praise things without actually being critical about them, then we're just going to get the same regurgitation of mediocrity. In order to actually fight this, you know, lack of good content war that we're like stuck in, right? We need to praise things when they're good, when they deserve it, when they earn it. But be honest and truthful. If you don't like something about something, it's okay to be honest. Just like I expect you guys when you play my game one day when it's ready, right? You're going to tell me if you don't like it. You're also going to tell me what you don't like about it. Like, oh, these load times suck. And I'm like, okay, we got to work on that. You know, like I expect you guys to be honest with me in the same vein, right? It's honesty because it's important. It's how we make things better together. And it's that sort of relationship that developers, I think, need to adopt. A relationship that is open communication. Like, I'm really sick of developers having this sort of condescension towards players, where and maybe that's because I've been on that end just like you guys have, like with Creative Assembly, where they just spit on us all the time. Like, Pugh. It's like, oh, thanks, wonderful. I want to like your game and give you a chance, but every time I approach you, you spit on me. So like I don't know, I don't feel particularly welcome. And then like you just do things that are just insulting the player all the time. It's like, just add little things like that chip away at me. I don't know. Pleka says, but Kibbs, it gets good after you develop Stockholm Syndrome. That's called sunk cost fallacy is what I'd like to point it out to. But yeah, so either way, I think that wraps up my point on that. But fuck, we waddled away from this because I'm actually interested in this game. I'm actually hopeful it's good. I just worry about the use of generative AI because I think it's a bad crutch, and I think it's important that we try as creators to go away from crutches. We try to produce good quality content through honest, transparent, and open lines of dialogue between our players and what we're making. And, we're all going to make mistakes. I'm going to do it. We're going to do it. Big companies are going to do it. We're all going to do it. Even the players will make mistakes too. It happens. But we have to be willing to have this dialogue, and we have to be willing to be honest, and we have to be willing to put the effort in. It's going to suck, Some things you don't want to do, right? Like, oh my god, I got to work on, like, descriptions for chairs. Oh, yay, my favorite. Because the artists need, descriptions for chairs. And I'll be real, I'm not particularly enthralled about chairs. But at the same time, putting in the work, putting in the effort, pays off in the end. Sometimes, even as a writer, I have to write things I'm not interested in. And chairs is one of those things. That's a recent thing we were working on. But it's important because sets and scenes need to create an atmosphere. But yeah. Chatfishies. I'm so sad. All right, so I do hope this game is good, though. I hope they respond well to criticism. And consider potentially, not using generative AI as a placeholder and just putting in the backbone a little bit. Because I do want your game to be good, Allcat. I've tried your games. I don't like them historically. Mostly because they're just based off pen and paper rules. And personally, I just don't like pen and paper rules in a video game. I think if you're making a video game, you should actually take advantage of the fact it's a fucking video game and use its systems because you can go more complex with it. Versus if you just make a board game, it's like playing Risk, but on my computer. It's not as interesting. It's just, it doesn't capture my interests the same way. But that's maybe just a me problem. It could just be a subjectivity issue. But this one is actually going to be not a tabletop adaptation. It's actually a video game. It's got mechanics, it's got shooting, it's got interactive gameplay elements, things that'll be a lot more up my alley, I think. And I hope that this game is good, even if it's not for me. All right, so next we have, how many articles did Buckster grab?
Yes.
Well, you played a few that I already grabbed earlier in the week, but you can look at the other ones.
All right, to get
That didn't.
Plake's meme out of the way. What's with this misogynistic design for incels? What's with this misogynistic design for incels? Oh, she just keeps saying that? Okay.
But, and how, like, the previous thing was a feminist icon. Yeah. That's happened before. Then it'll happen again.
It'll happen again. Oh, I get it now. Yes. Because they didn't say that about Nier Automata the first time. And then they're like, actually,
And
she
now
is.
And now, like, I remember that. I remember them proclaiming that it was, like,
It's
Stella
Nikon.
and
Yeah. Because
Yep.
they're basically taking things and then trying to weaponize them as their own. And they're politicizing these characters. And all four of these characters from all four of these games have nothing to do with politics. They're just characters from a video game. But yeah, interesting. Neat art style. All right, so let's see. Oh my god. Okay, that one's good. I have to open that right away, Bucky. So, Bucky, what's the context for this? Or do I have to open the article above? Oh my god.
Look at the title of it.
$900. Take that, Microsoft. Kablam. Microsoft's like, Sony.
PS5s are going to be $900 soon. They've raised the price again.
They're killing themselves. I know they think they can get away with it, but I think the only thing that's been able to work is gouging players. The only thing that's worked on the casual market is incremental $10 increases somehow have gotten away. And it's disgusting. But this isn't an incremental $10. This is like, what? How much was it? Was $600 before? How much was it now? I don't actually know. What was the price of a PlayStation 5? Or whatever the new one is. 6
It was
or whatever.
$499 when it came out.
$499. What was the price of it retail modern, like circa before this change?
It went up by like $50. It was like $550.
Still, it was
then-
incremental. Still big, but still incremental. Now it's jumping up by hundreds of dollars. I don't think the market will adapt or like snap to that well.
No, they're not.
I think Sony is just killing themselves. Honestly, the sooner the better, honestly, because I'm tired of Sony sitting on their treasure trove of IPs that I would love to see on Steam, and I'm getting sick of waiting for them to, croak and put them on Steam already. Because they're going to be desperate for money. Yep. God of War collection coming to PS2, or not PS2, but to Steam. $20. I'll take that. Nice deal. Nice deal. Are they increasing the peripheral prices again as well? Again, says Strigoi. Looks like we continue to not have a PS5. Yeah, same. I don't have a PS5 either, and I tried to collect consoles. I actually stopped after the Xbox One and PS4 because I was like, these are kind of lame. So I just have them in a box somewhere. So I haven't taken them out since. I just don't find them interesting. Unlike the older consoles like the Xbox 360 or the N64, the PlayStation 1, they're cool. The new stuff is just lame and boring and slow, and it takes forever to load.
I bought one last week to play Extreme 3.
Wait, you did, Plague?
What? Beach volleyball?
Are you
3?
fucking with me, Plague? Did you actually buy fucking goddamn PlayStation 5? Hold up, check. Get ready for bullying sessions. Lol, you still can't have the things you want! Exclamation point, says Polly. No 60 FPS Bloodborne. He did? What the fuck? For one game, you paid how much for that, Plague? How much did you pay for one video game? Was it just one video game?
Brazil deserves everything that's happening to it.
Like, honestly, Blake, I think we need to punish you. I think you haven't been punished enough. Richard says, I'll stop at the PS3 too. Yeah, the PS3 was interesting. The Wii was interesting. The Xbox 360 was interesting. Honestly, I like 7th gen. And I think 8th gen is kind of lame and gay. And 9th gen feels the exact same way. There's just no interesting stuff. Pocket Marmot says, I respect that dedication as a DOA loyalist. God damn it, Chatfish, you little gooners. It's also for the Neptunia game that won't release on PC. Plague is Plague retarded. I respect his dedication to an IP, actually. Plague is the kind of fan I want for my setting. He will follow you to the ends of the earth, motherfucker. That is a respectable fan. You're not loyal to Sony. You're loyal to those developers and the hard work they put into their games. That's beautiful. Now, Plague, you need to be loyal to me that way. See? Oh my God, help me. All right, next. Oh God, I see RAM sticks, and I'm already nervous. Oh hey, that's it. That's actually easy. So, DDR5 RAM prices have dropped for the first time in several months. Corsair Vengeance 32 gigabytes, 2 times 16, so two 16 gigabyte RAMs, 6,000 megahertz kits are now available for around $370. Oh God, that's not affordable, honestly, when it comes to that price. On major retailers like Amazon and Newegg, down from previous levels by $40 to $100 in some cases. This decline may be linked to Google's recent Turbo Quant announcement, a KV cache compression technique that can reduce AI model memory usage by up to 6 times. Again, good news. Good news, little chatfishes. RAM sticks are only slightly eye-gougingly expensive. Check. Oh.
Yeah. I think the idea is that with this Google's creation of this AI algorithm, it's going to cause the market collapse of RAM now.
Is this going to actually cause this is where the bubble begins to burst here?
Yeah, because look, if
the AI needs less RAM now.
True,
yeah,
might
6
actually
times less.
Which means that efficiency will go up, which means the AI bubble might start to slowly start unraveling.
Think about this, Gibbs. All of those contracts for RAM, because Corsair, Micron, and everybody else has shifted over to providing RAM for
Only
AI.
for AI, not for consumers. Yes.
Yeah, and now there's a problem. Now they're getting 6 times less than what they were anticipating.
Yep.
In terms of revenue.
So now they're gonna have to come back crawling on their little hands and knees, like, consumers, please, consumers. Wait, buy my ram sticks. Start just throwing them. Oh my God.
So I'm really interested in seeing what's going to
Jesus.
happen.
Yes, I would expect scalpers will be the first to double down on this. Be careful, chat. But I'm not an expert in this stuff. But I see a potential problem for the initial wave to be scalpers might hit this pretty hard. Where they might try to grab like a bunch and then like resell them and then scalp hard. We'll see though. But if the bubble bursts, then it won't matter how much you scalp. You won't be able to fucking scalp this shit. This shit will become literally like dirt cheap because there'll be an overinflation of it on the market. Interesting. This is good news in this regard. The AI bubble bursts. If it bursts sooner than expected, that would actually be good for
And then
not
all
only...
the RAM companies die.
Ooh, we don't want them to go completely gone because we want the infrastructure. So somebody's got to like buy them up or
No.
something.
When the company forecloses, they demolish the buildings.
It becomes lost tech. It's like, what RAM sticks you have? See, there's a reason why I keep all my
RAM
RAM.
sticks become the currency of the
I
future.
literally store my RAM in like a safety box with all my other computer components from previous PCs. Because you know why? Because that's my backup stuff for in case my PC fails. Because I don't want to have to buy another one. It's like $5 bajillion. Oh, Chatfish, we need to buy new RAM sticks. I need to donate like $600. Please, thanks. No, I'm kidding. Oh my God, no. There's a reason why I have them in storage over there. Safe and secure, Chad. So I don't have to do emergency fundraising to even do my job. Wow. Oh, scary.
You should check Stream Elements.
Stream Elements? Okie doke. Metallic Chair drops $170. Holy smokes. Very generous. Says Indio Fancy Fish pre-order. The $50 IO rapier for the thummy last month. And thank you for the generous donation and for honoring your obligation on the thumbnail. Very generous, Metallic Chair. That helps us out tremendously. Remember, this week's stretch goal is 90s Aerith with a 90s themed Chatfish. The Chatfish is radical. He's super cool, chat. Also, don't forget, the other stretch goal for this week is getting over the weekly so that we can buy art educational courses for Indio. Woohoo! We're going to be increasing Indio's education to produce higher quality art for you. So this is an investment. And so I'm allowing chat.
He's got to learn to be slower.
Yeah, he better not. He's going to learn how to make better quality art so he can make better things for you and better things for me. This is good for both of us, chat. We're investing into his future, which is our future too. It's like, wow, the community that helps people get smart and stuff or something. Or something. Do you want some RAM sticks? Some shady RAM dealer? No, I don't want any of your RAM sticks. You should go home and rethink your life. I'm gonna go home and rethink my life. You want to buy some RAM sticks? Jefferson's is dumb. All right, anything else we got to cover?
That's it.
We did it. This week had a lot of big news in it. We had a huge fireside.
We covered a lot of stuff in the fireside, yeah.
And there was still quite a bit of stuff that developed over the last couple of days. So it'll be curious if we have to cram out another fireside. If this much stuff happens like it did last week, because holy crap, it was very difficult to stay on top
Well,
of
it
all
could
the stuff.
announce that there's a new emote on the server, I suppose.
Oh yeah, there is new Discord emotes. They were made by Bonobo. They're kind of cursed though. Just to forewarn.
They're only cursed if you put them together.
Yeah, if you keep them separate, they're a little less cursed. And I think Bonobo will have her pay docked for drawing those emojis pro bono. How dare she? No, wait, we didn't pay for those, did we? I better not have paid for a butt plug. I better not have paid. Just like, what? All right, chat. So, next stream, we're going to be checking out the Starship Troopers game. They finally have been adding stuff to the game, and it's actually getting better. We tried it last night, and it was actually pretty good. So you're welcome to join if you want, chat. And then we'll be doing more Stardew Valley, where we'll be farming with Show and whoever else shows up, I guess. Yep, the Shob Gob. So thanks for your generous donations, and thank you for almost making today's goal. Very much appreciated, chat. We'll see you in the next stream. Take care and have yourself a fantastic day.
See ya.